Convo 2.30 Disaster.
Officer still stands for talk? No. Offender in custody?
Good evening, everybody. Happy Sunday night. Hopefully your weekend's been peaceful and positive. We're doing a little out of the blue show tonight, usually on... Why is this not going away? StreamYard. What the hell's going on? I was going to shout out Brittany here, but what the hell? Here we go. StreamYard's acting crazy. Normally we just hang out and do OJ shows, but tonight I was like, you know what? It's going to be ending early enough. It's cold as hell outside. I'm going to be up late, so why not just hang out with you guys for a couple hours? And I figured, why not go through? I know I got videos up there of the routes and things like that, and there's been shows here and there where we're kind of going through snippets of different footage and stuff like that. And so I figured, you know what, tonight we'll hang out, conversate. If any updates come out, we'll go ahead and, hit those up. But I figured we just kind of go through all the different parts of the footage and different driving around and things like that. The stuff that we normally don't see, or the stuff that we might just check out for a couple minutes, 5 minutes here and there, something like that. I figured why not just kind of have this show just kind of go through all the other footage that's not the actual route of the PCA. So why not? I know it's kind of a last minute show, kind of out of the blue. So, anybody that's coming in to hang out, I appreciate you coming in. Thank you. And I will go ahead and say what's up to everybody. And then we'll get into the show. Jacqueline, ticket number 1. Steve WCJ, please listen to this SG interview again. I'm wondering about him saying he would like to know what was going on in that house that the perpetrator. Yeah, we can watch that again for sure, because we are going to be going over. We kind of went over it last night's show with that interview. So if you didn't watch last night's show, there's like 3 different parts of last night's show. One of them was without the interview, and I think the other 2 were with the interview with Steve G. And I was kind of referencing what he was saying and then using the footage and photography and Google Guide to try and show uh, you know, kind of the perspective that he was talking about. Speaking of Google Guy, I do have a zoomed in version that I was gonna show you guys tonight. Uh, that was from something that I did a long time ago, and um, there was some discussion about what was actually on 1122. So we're going to use real footage. We're going to use Google Guy footage to kind of go through the 1112. I'm sorry, the 1112 property. And also the 712 too. And I think what I want to do is, since there was a lot of questions about 1119, I think we'll use the footage that I got too, because you're going to get a direct shot of 1119 as we're leaving Queen Road and King Road. So it'll be some other things that we can check out too. What's up, SM? Thank you for hopping in. Appreciate you. Caddy, thank you. Look at it, always coming in with the artistic icon photos. I hope everybody's doing okay. There's like half the mod team that's down with really bad sick bugs and COVID and all this other stuff. Community members that are sick or, have bugs or have COVID. So I just prayers to everybody. Prayers to you guys. I can't, it's like, it's one thing as I've been doing this, it's been an adjustment, because as I've been doing this 24/7 YouTube, you don't get a lot of interaction with the outside world anymore. Well, I don't anyway, because I'm always working at the desk. And so my interaction really is like stores and things like that. So I'm not out in the public like everybody is. But man, I just prayers for all you guys that aren't feeling good. We know that it's a common thing now the last couple winter seasons, and unfortunately it's something. I think there's just going to be a new strand every year, and it's going to be like another flu. So, but the effects of it are so strong and so vicious for some people. Prayers, nothing but prayers for speedy recoveries. Cindy, peace, positivity, and progress. A beautiful message. Thank you. Because if you're all about those, then you can never lose. You know what I'm saying? But the thing about it, and just like in real life and business, you have to surround yourself with like-minded individuals with the peace, positivity, and progress. And so that's why uh, we all, and myself included, strongly protect this atmosphere because of that. So, what's up, Scarlett? Thank you for hopping in. Appreciate you. Thank you, Colleen. Yeah, I wanted to shout her out. Allegedly with Brittany J. Thank you for her hospitality last night. I'll drop her link here in a second and share her channel when we get to switching. Um, Shout out to her for her kindness and her hospitality. Shout out to Riddler. Riddler's been hopping in here. I want to say shout out to Riddler as well. Uh, Riddler's been hopping in here, and I've been seeing them pop in, and I wanted to go show some love, and it was like 1:30 in the morning. I was just going there to show some love and hit the like, and then they were discussing the case, and I was like, oh, why not? And yeah, it was a great conversation. The last 2 hours I was on there. It was a wonderful conversation, and they have a beautiful community. And I just wanted to say thank you and shout out to Allegedly with Brittany J. Actually, I don't know if she's busy tonight. I did send her an email because since I am going through this footage, I figured I would send her an email and see if she wanted. I know it's last minute, so I apologize. The show was last minute even. But I did send out an email and ask her, I know it's last minute, but if you'd like to join the panel, I'd love to have you on as we go through it. And then if you have any questions or anything like that. So anytime in the future, if she's not able to make it tonight, yeah, I'd love to have Riddler on panel when we have Brittany too, for real. Shout out again, Riddler. Any other night, I know it's short notice, and if they're not able to, totally understand. But if any other night, definitely we could sit down and I can go through whatever footage, and then if there's anything they want to explore or have questions about, we could do it there and include all the conversation that comes along with it. So I think it'd be sweet. Oh, thank you, Margaret. I appreciate that. I just cycle through them. I'm gonna once we get into the screen switch and we get into the case, you're gonna get the real footage behind me. What's up, Bianca? Katrina, thank you so much. What's up, Aaliyah? D. Marie, thank you for hopping in. Mary Burns, CJ. Oh, thank you. I appreciate your kind words all over the place, Mary, for real. What's up, Beagle? Thank you for hopping in. Right. What's up, Carol Meyer? How are you? Bianca, ticket number 2. Thank you. What's up, Yoli? If you're not busy, you're more than welcome. We always love having Yoli. I know that you're busy with your friends, so appreciate you. We were actually on the replay. If you were joining the OJ shows that we were doing, we had the replay for everybody. We have the new members only episodes earlier in the day on Sundays, and then we watch the previous week's episodes on the live on Sunday nights. So that way, if everybody, people that aren't able to afford any memberships or anything, I want to be able to share those shows with them too. So we just put it on a week delay. And then I hang out with you guys in chat. I think it's really cool. Yeah, the rewatch. I love it. It's crazy because usually I'm always behind the camera, behind the microphone, and I'm never ever rarely in chat, and so it's kind of cool. Like the last couple shows that we've done for the sub rewatch, it's different, but I love it because it's like, man, I get to sit back and just focus on nothing but the conversation going on in chat. It's beautiful. So I want to say thank you again for hopping in. I apologize about the short notice, and we'll go ahead and get it switched up. I'm gonna do a shout out, Brittany. Thank you, appreciate your kindness, and we'll get in on the show, and we will check out that Steve G interview. Please hit the like if you haven't yet. It's the free way to help out, and I'll see you guys in a second. All right. So first, I'm going to go ahead and shout out Allegedly with Brittany J. I want to say thank you again for her hospitality. And we'll go ahead and drop that link. If you're not subscribed to Allegedly with Brittany J, please go do. I'd love to collab with her in the future. And like I said, I know it was short notice, but if they hop in, they're more than welcome to come up and hang out. And if they have any questions, more than welcome, or any other time we do a show. Also, Nightbot. I'm hoping Nightbot is working. I don't know. I changed it to, I don't know. Maybe I didn't have those settings right for how many messages. I don't know. But I don't think it's going to start slapping people and booting people and yelling at people and pointing the finger at people and all sorts of stuff no more, so we should be good there. Nightbot. It's like a service that not only it kind of helps, cute elves in the corner. Yeah, the season's greetings, little guys with the presents bouncing around. Yeah, good stuff. They were there. Yep, I have them dancing around in the beginning of the show, and then once we get into the rest, then we get the snowflakes falling, and we always have to have that little live thing going on up there. They were there. All right, so what I'm gonna do here is we're gonna go to that Steve G interview. But since I am talking about footage, I do want to share a couple videos real quick. So I'm going to share 3 links with you guys. So this is a video I made a while ago. Now, this video right here is just going to be the route, no commentary, and no banners or anything like that. So you can see right here how there's no banners or anything. So this is a video I made. So if anybody wants to use that, you're more than welcome. So there's the link for that. The next link I'm going to share, and this has all to do with the footage, and that's why I'm sharing these. This one is the same route, but it has me adding commentary to the video that I just posted. So there's two differences there. The other one's full screen. This one has me in it, and then it has commentary in it as well. So there's the link for that one. And then the last link I'm going to share is if I can get to it. And this is when Yoli and me, and this one's the longest. This is when Yoli and myself went through the
Turn around.
Whoa, or just turn around. This is when, or maybe it was the beginning. This is when Yoli and myself went through the whole footage of the PCA route with the commentary of Yoli and myself. That one's the longest one. That one's 2.5. The other ones are more short. Okay. There's to that. Thank you so much. Thank you. I got to get YouTube. I wish YouTube would put the little animation on this little pretty bird with the hearts. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. And now I don't have this on YouTube. This is something that I'm going to upload when I start doing different things for different tiers. This is actually, 'cause I'm going to have a different tier where it's all of the footage that I collected, you know, where if there's a different tier, then you can have access to all the other footage that's not uploaded to YouTube, you know, but it will be uploaded to YouTube for special memberships where you'll have, you know, whatever, whether I'm driving up to a gas station or whatever, you're going to have all that different footage, Coeur d'Alene, driving around footage, driving around all the outskirts in fog, you know, all sorts of different, you know, all the stuff that I've collected that I'm not really going to show on regular shows or use, but some of them, like when I do use videos, I only use 5 minutes, and you will have another hour of video that you probably never got to see because we never end up using it or haven't used it or whatever. So I'm going to end up doing that, and this is going to be one of them. This is my zoomed in Google guy. And so what I mean by that is when the case first happened, I'm cutting out. Oh, shit. Not now? Okay. When the case first happened, that's when we started, like, I always use the Google guy walking around, right? So when the case first happened and we started looking into it, I was walking around. There's probably like 22 episodes of us just walking around the whole neighborhood, walking around the road, everything that we were doing all this walking around before they started blurring everything out. And so I went through 22 episodes, and I have a bunch, and I'm going to end up uploading all of those different Google guys, but it's going to be a lot of work with the zoom in and stuff. But I'm going to end up uploading those too, because what I used previous episodes that we discussed it, and then I made clips of those previous episodes. And so with that, we're able to zoom in and see the Google Street View before everything was blurred out, even though they blurred everything out. And so what we're going to do is we're going to check this out first. And then now it's not going to be the greatest quality because, again, this is from a zoomed in version of an old episode that we were looking at the Google Street View before everything was blurred. So it's not going to be top notch. Now, when it comes to the footage of us being at the property, we're going to have clear footage. Now, with this is the Google Google walk around from October of the previous year. So not only we have October of the previous year, there's footage from local news clips of them taking shots from different spots that you have right after the crime took place. And then there's new footage that I took a year later that will show any differences when it comes to that. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom all the way up. There we go. I wish I could go full screen, but all right, fix that. One second. Now, where did I go? All right, hold on one second. I gotta fix this. All right, hopefully that's better. All right, now it should let me go full screen. There we go. Now, when I upload it to YouTube, it's going to be better because it'll be a direct upload and it's not using StreamYard to transfer the video. But now there was, we were talking about, was there a camera on that corner of 1112? Now, there's nothing hanging off of the roof area. And we're going to look at it at different angles as well. Now, this is just a couple clips, like a 7-minute bunch of clips of just parts from this road here itself, not the rest of the neighborhood. There's other videos where we walked up and down the same road again, but I wasn't going to have the repeating stuff over and over and over, so I just made a 7-minute clip out of the 22 videos and broke it down just to get a lot of the stuff right here. So it's just different clips of us kind of different episodes looking at the property. And you can kind of see right there, nothing hanging off the roof. And then I'm going to use Google Earth to show the distance. Now, I believe it's only 30 feet if you're measuring to the back corner of 1112. Oh, Cindy, I hope it stops. Unfortunately, that's what I was saying last night. It's going to It's going to have to be a protest at the property. Like, it's going to have to, or the university. It's just, but it's probably going to have to be a protest at the property. You're talking 11 days and holidays included in those 11 days and weekends. You know what I'm saying? So it's really, if you're looking at it, for business days, there's literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 business days. All right, so I wanted to pause it right here. All right, so you can see the zoomed in part of the back of 11, 12, and there is nothing hanging off that part right there. And look at, see all that. This is October, okay? And when I went there, right? And you can see from the back, there was still leaves on the trees. It's a different perspective when you're looking towards than when you're looking through from the other side. That's why I say the person could have been 10 feet from the frickin' sliding glass door in any of these trees and watched what was going on in the second floor living room. You could probably tell based off of how somebody's walking pattern if they're going into the bedroom where Zaina and Ethan were. You could definitely see if somebody's going in and out of DM's room from the perspective, and you can tell if somebody's going to be going upstairs based off of the way that they're walking, going towards the stairs. So you could definitely see if somebody's going to be going up the stairs as well. Then you have access to both sliding glass doors, so you have a view of the upstairs second floor room where Kaylee was at. And then you got the windows on the back side that you could sit there and watch. The only floor that you would not know what kind of activity was going on would be the very bottom floor. Now, you're going to be able to see people coming up to the property or driving by the property because basically you'd be back over here, right? But you're not going to see any windows on the first floor. You're not going to see anybody coming out of the door on the first floor. You're not going to notice any kind of activity unless they're coming between these two houses if you're peeping the scene. So really, you just have the knowledge of what's taking place on the second and third floor. So then when you go back and you think, okay, they said the house was possibly a target. Was the house possibly a target because the person that was peeping could only see what was going on the second and third floor because that's the only things that happened was on those floors and nothing on the first, as far as we know. So ultimately, when you think about what I'm saying, could it be that maybe the house just was because the person that was peeping could only see the second and third floor, and that's why nothing happened on the first? Now, when you're going into the property, you would think that the person, if they didn't do anything on the first floor because they didn't notice, well, then maybe they'd never been to the property before. Maybe they never been to the property before. Maybe they were somebody that was parking in the back parking lot that lived at the apartment complex right across the street And when they would park to go home, they would have a perfect view inside the sliding glass door on the 3rd floor and Maddie's window. So maybe the person that kept coming home at Queen Road Apartments, parking in the back lot, continually saw night after night after night after night whatever might have been going on in those windows, even if they were just standing there playing with the puppy. So if somebody's chilling back there and living at Queen Road Apartments, maybe they are the incel, right? Maybe they are the incel, and that's why they never, in the whole time that they lived there, ever went and visited that house because they are an incel, right? And that's why when they would come home, they wouldn't even know that that bottom floor was part of the house to them. Maybe it was just the basement that they came into the property, because all the activity took place on the other 2 floors whenever they would come home to their home at Queen Road Apartments and see the activity on the patio, the sliding glass door, and on the 3rd floor deck, and the sliding glass door up there. Maybe that's where, maybe all these detectives that were coming out and saying that it was an incel, it was an incel, it was an incel. Well, maybe it fucking was. Maybe the incel wasn't even driving a damn car. The incel just walked out of their apartment, out of Queen Road Apartments, walked across the damn street, got their shit out of their car, because that's where they parked. The blue car, people. The blue car. And that's where they parked. And then they went down there, committed the crime, hopped out. Maybe they hopped up, like I told you. Listen, here's the scenario of the incel that lives at Queen Road Apartments. The dude parks at every day in the same spot, every night in the same spot, comes home and sees the activity taking place through the windows, sees the activity that's happening outside the party, and he's an incel. He just goes home. Everybody wonders about rage. It took a lot of rage to commit this crime. FBI profilers, incel, incel, incel. I bet you the incel that committed this crime lived at Queen Road Apartments, walked out of their front door, went back behind the trees, walked down, catapulted, and got themselves up on the back part of the 3rd floor deck, gained access through the sliding glass door, waited for everybody to come home. The incel had enough. Although the incel was not confident enough to approach the people, they couldn't deal with it no more. That's where the rage came from. That's where all the FBI profilers are saying it's an incel. They didn't drive a car. They walked from the Queen Road Apartments, climbed up the balcony, gained access through the sliding glass door upstairs, which, why would they lock it? There's no forced entry. You hear the DM statement, somebody's playing with the puppy. Oh, I think it's the roommate, because what roommate thinks that a perpetrator's playing with the puppy? That's what alarms Kaylee. I think somebody's here. Then the person walks over, commits the crime upstairs, because they've been watching the windows upstairs for who knows how long, as they come home and park their car behind the property and go home to Queen Road Apartments. Then they go downstairs. Then you hear the DM statements in the PCA about the second floor. Then the person goes out the window of the second floor bedroom, hops. You can see it right behind me. See how far that car is from that roof? You're out of your mind to think that it's not a safe jump to jump from that roof and land in gravel. And then all you need to do is walk back up around, go through the trees, clean yourself off, and then walk or change your shoes, whatever. Do whatever you need to do in the trees. Hell, you might just, at that time of night, it's so dark. I showed you guys already. You just, and the ladder too. But I think they gained access on that third floor sliding glass door. And then all they had to do was walk back home. All they had to do was walk back home. They didn't have to drive no car. I wouldn't be surprised if the damn weapon was at Queen Road Apartments, everybody. And that's my thoughts on the incel theory from the Queen Road Apartments. What's up, John Morgan? Well, when you see the footage, and I'll show you guys, I wanted to show this picture. And let me see, it was 1043. Let me share that real quick, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. And then I'm going to be dissecting my footage. So I'm going to be getting into my footage as well. And I'm going to be showing you guys, we're going to be going through different videos and such too. So let me go to my photos. And this is, let me see, 1043. I think it was the picture that, yes. All right. And we'll switch this up too. If it'll let me. There we go. All right. So you're parked at where the blue car is on Google. So if you haven't seen what I'm talking about, all you have to do is Google 1122 King Road, Moscow, Idaho, and then have the bird's eye view, go to satellite view, and you will see the blue car that's parked right where you get this view. All right. What I'm saying is this incel, if they do live at Queen Road Apartments, and this is just in the middle of the parking lot, they could be somebody that parks all the way more to the side, and they have an even better view. But even with this view, that's just from the blue car right around the corner. That parking lot, when I show you the footage and we go through the footage again, you'll see how deep that parking lot is and how many vehicles can park there. Actually, I'll just give you the bird's eye view of it to show you. So you're looking at this angle right here. All right, and this is going to be where the blue car is. So right here at the blue car is what I'm talking about. You can park all the way back here. You can park all the way back here. So when I show you I wish it was so much easier to do screen share on this thing. Now I gotta stop it. Do this. So when you're looking at it from here, imagine you can see what you can see here. But if you're parked more down to the left, then you definitely have, and even if you walk a couple feet down, because there's one part of footage where I actually walk down up to the crime scene tape and I kind of record over it, right? And you walk a couple feet down and you have, so imagine the sliding glass doors in the windows here, but when you're parked more to the left, turn that and you have a perfect view going straight in where you can see DM's door, you can see the entry to the second floor living room. I mean, you can see the whole kitchen, and then you're talking about upstairs bedroom too. Now, if you guys remember that video of Kaylee when she's playing with the puppy and she's doing this with it, right? That's her bedroom. So, where she's doing this with the puppy, she's doing that towards the left part. If we're looking at the sliding glass door, she's doing it towards this left part. That's where she's facing. So imagine the fact that you can see into that whole bedroom just like you can see into the whole kitchen just from being parked. Now, and that's what I'm saying. You have to, this, like I said last night, it's, there's a lead up to events. Something like this crime doesn't just up when you open a pop, it don't just go nuts, okay, and fizz everywhere. You have to shake it. You have to shake it multiple times. There's a lead up to events when it comes to this kind of explosive act. And so what I'm saying is, with this incel theory that lives at Queen Road Apartments, this person is coming home every single day, night. They're seeing all the fun that's going on. They're seeing all the activity that's going on. They're an incel, so they're reserved and they don't want to, they can't be a part of anything because of the social awkwardness. But they park every time going home and they see the fun and they get jealous and they see the girls doing their makeup through the windows and they get possessive and this and this and this, everything that all those FBI profilers were saying, incel, incel, incel. You're damn right now. Incel, 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 an incel that lived at Queen Road Apartments. That's the one that didn't have to stalk the property. That's the one that knows how dark it is back there. That's the one that knows everybody else's habits when it comes to work times and maybe activities. And that's the person that knows, you know what? Between this time and this time, this is when I'm going to do it. Because even though I'm awkward and I can't go introduce myself, I can't involve myself around social activities, but I've been seeing these girls and I've been seeing the fun and I've been seeing it over and over and over and over. And I come home alone and I can't take it no more. And these people are having fun and I can't take it no more. And then boom, they walk out of their apartment, walk over to this house. They know the back of this area like the back of their hand because they park there every day. And they go and commit the crime and they're able to go back home, walk into their apartment, and ain't nobody noticing shit. Because when they're coming back up from where after they're committing the crime, they just look like somebody else that just got out of their car and are walking home up to their apartment. The incel theory from the Queen Road Apartments. They know the area like the back of their hand. And who in the hell You know what I'm saying? You come back up that hill. Hell, you could go back. You could go up to your car, unlock your car, shut your door, and pretend like you just got out of your car and you're walking up to your apartment. And if you're wearing black, ain't nobody gonna be able to tell that you have red stuff all over you. Even if you have a little bit, ain't nobody gonna be able to tell. And all you have to do is take that little teeny, like I said, less than 2 minutes from where your car would be parked up to your door at your apartment building. Less than 2 minutes. And you're home safe. I'm going to show you guys, and I know a lot of you have seen this, but I'm going to show it for maybe somebody else that's just checking out the show. I'm going to show you how dark it is back there. I'm going to show you the difference between the day and the night. So here's the day. All right. Oh, that's when I got out of the vehicle. See how you can see everything? I just walked over a little bit to the left. See how you can see everything? Look at how listen, I'm standing behind the crime tape, people, and look at how close the patio slab is. Look at how close the patio slab is. You don't need binoculars. You don't even need... imagine if you did, though, right, Katrina? Imagine if you did have binoculars. Oh, my gosh. You could tell what kind of earrings somebody's wearing with binoculars. Hold on. Let me check. My Discord's acting funny. It hasn't been notifying me. Let me see. Open in browser. Give me 1 second. I'll share it here in a second. But look at how close. What's up, Quinny? What's up, Sandy? Right. You know what I'm saying? Look, I'm not... Listen, I didn't cross the crime scene tape, yo. I didn't do it. That's how close that slab is. All right, let me show you another video. All right, so this is when I'm at the back of the property. Here, let me remove this. And let me remove this too. Hold on. Let me just get rid of everything and myself here so I can show you the... All right. Now, I'm at the back of the property, like I said, where that blue car was at. Now, see where that tree is in that crime scene tape? That's where I was standing next to. I was off to the left of that tree. So in the last shot that you guys seen, which was right here, I'm off to the left of that tree. Here, let me do this. Get back in here. I'm off to the left of the tree, all right? So when I come back to here, you'll see I'm off to the left. That's where I'm taking that video. That's how close you are to the frickin' patio, okay? Now I'm going to be leaving the scene, and I want you to see something. Look at how close your apartment is, people. There was not a clear path. There was a bunch of trees. Some had leaves on them still, some didn't. Now, I took this footage on 11/12/2023. So it was the day before the year. The footage I took at night was the 13th. Now, this is, I mean, you see how close these apartments are, okay? I just literally backed up and turned right. Watch. I'm at the back of the property. Right there. And who's to say they didn't run through this little alleyway? Who's to say they didn't run through this little alleyway and go to the left and then hop down the side of the house where nobody's going to see you from the house because they can't see you hop over the side. Nobody's going to pay attention because it's a quick 3-second walk across the street. Then you're at the back of the property again, climbing up the 3rd floor or sliding through the sliding glass door. Now, since we're here, I want to show people, and it's the daytime, I want to show people. This is why you're not turning at a high rate of speed around this corner. See how tight this is? And I'll show you the nighttime. See how tight this is? Look at it. I almost, you see how close I am to the frickin' dumpster when I turn? Look. You're going to go at a high rate of speed, slide, maybe hit the dumpster, maybe hit this tree bush or the light pole or the apartment building if you're sliding, right? Now, if there is any footage, like, and we're going to go replay Steve G's interview here in a few, all right? So if any camera would have decent footage, I don't even think this camera would have a license plate. Because they're talking about 1119 straight up ahead to our left. See, I don't think that would even be able to give you a plate. Now, would it be able to give you a decent vehicle picture? Maybe. But I'm telling you right now, I have the best cameras possible. And there's limitations when it comes to night, even though there's night vision. I don't think there's a plate. Look at the car that's straight ahead of us to the right. You know what I'm saying? Look at the car straight ahead to the right. It is very tight. Very tight, Quinny. That was one of the things that shocked me when I was there, was how tight everything was. Now I'm going to show you the video at night. I believe it's this one. All right, so let me see here. Okay, so I'm going to be going up, and I'm going to be showing you at night. What's up, Clyde? I hope. Now this is with street lights and headlights. See how dark it is? White vehicle, white vehicle, white vehicle, white vehicle, white vehicle, white vehicle. White, light colored, white, light colored, white, white truck. Like white vehicle, white vehicle, white vehicle, white vehicle. You see what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't kidding when I said they probably had a discount on white fucking vehicles there. Because look at this. Off to the left, white vehicle. Off to the left, white vehicle. And this is when I was leaving something. I think, no, it wasn't the vigil. It was something else. They are everywhere. Coffee cake sounds so good because I love coffee. And white vehicle. White vehicle. You know what I'm saying? Like everywhere we go. Yo, the person that committed the crime lives at Queen Road Apartments. And they park in that back lot. That's who committed this crime. And I bet you find the victim's DNA in one of those apartments. If they ever do real investigative shit. I bet you. I bet you find the DNA to the victims in one of those apartments at Queen Road. There's coffee cake. What's up, D. Smith? CA, how you doing? I think I'm just doing some driving around Moscow right now. But we end up at... I'm just showing you guys some extra footage. And we end up at the back of the property. But I'm going to... This one, I think, goes through Linda Lane stuff, too. There's the 76 in the A&W restaurant. No, famous A&W restaurant from the beginning of the case where they said that they saw him going this way to the scene of the crime, and we're going to show that footage tonight too. We're just kind of dissecting stuff. If there is, you guys have any questions, go ahead and ask. Just type a Q with the hashtag, and then I'll make sure I star them. And also, if there's any requests when it comes to maybe certain areas or something, let me know. See the difference. Just look at the headlights. You know what I'm saying? I'm in an SUV, so I'm already up off the ground, okay? Look at... My headlights are shining on that damn house behind this road. There's some kind of illumination coming from my headlights. And look at how dark it is. The person that committed the crime has to be living at Queen Road Apartments. They park behind the house. That's where they built up all this rage and jealousy and frustration, because they are right. It really is an incel. And they're so focused on a white vehicle that's driving all over the place, when the person that probably committed the crime, just because I showed you, I'm going to show you why tonight, why the route doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. It is. It's very tight, very dark. Very tight, very dark. I mean, just the light bulbs on the Queen Road Apartments are like old school. You know what I'm saying? Those ain't even the look at my headlights compared to those lights on the apartments. It's a different, it's not up to date. It can't be, because the up to date lights are like this headlight. They're not like the old school gymnasium light color, That's like a gymnasium-like color when you get into the basketball court and you're the first one in there and you got to flip the lights on and it takes like 10 minutes for the bulbs to warm up. And look at how tight it is right here. Yeah, what are you going to do if there's another car coming your way? Who knows, coffee cake? I'm just saying, when there's that much speculation, there's that much reasonable doubt. It's got to. Nothing half-assed. I mean, maybe they live here. Who knows? But I guarantee, listen, if you're driving up, if you're driving up next to the house, all right? If you're driving up next to the house and you live at, you don't even have to be even driving up next to the house to be living in those apartments in Linda Lane, right? So this is why the Linda Lane part, I don't see too much of it. What I see is somebody that parks in that back lot, living at Queen Road Apartments, by where they would be parking and have a reason to park in that back lot. So if somebody that is living up there or living on this side of Queen Road Apartments on this left side section, the one that we're driving by, you're only going to see what's going on at that property from a huge distance, and you're not going to have that kind of intimate effect when it comes with the property if you are that person. Now, when you're where is it at? When you're here and you're parking here to come home because you live at those apartments right over there when I back out, if you are coming here and parking home and you have that mentality, that's where you create your fantasies. That's where you create your obsession. That's where you create your desires and all these thoughts and all these things that you want to do because you park there every day or every night because you live right there. It's got to be this building or whoever, wherever you stay. You're parking here or you're parking over to the left of this spot. Wherever you live, whatever apartment you live in, whatever. This right here, this parking spot for wherever they live, this is what creates all of the shit that somebody would need to commit this crime. Somebody doesn't need to stalk the property because the person already lived there. As far as somebody else knows, they're sitting out there having a cigarette in the car, looking like they're just smoking a cigarette in the car because somebody doesn't smoke in their apartment or something. So then somebody that comes in from a neighbor's apartment is coming out to their car that's parked next to the person that committed the crime, and to the neighbor, they just like they're sitting out in the car having a cigarette. But really, they're sitting there having a cigarette, fantasizing. Pretending to be in a vehicle or whatever, to be able to sit there and sit in the back of the vehicle and not look suspicious to anybody else that's coming up next to their vehicle, or maybe even a neighbor that knows them. Hey, what are you doing, Jimmy? Oh, I'm just having a smoke real quick. All right, Jimmy, see you tomorrow night, man. All right, buddy. And then he turns his focus and he's sitting there watching through the back windows and watching through the sliding glass doors, watching everything that's going on while he's having a smoke, looking like ain't nothing going on, but really the dude is bottling up all of this frustration and anger and all of these things And then one night, the dude walks out of his house or out of his apartment and simply just walks across the parking lot, goes down the back hill, and commits the crime, and then simply walks back up through the parking lot just a few feet right back home, and nobody notices shit. Where they're going through the trash can, Shonda? No, Coffee. And thank you for checking out the show. No, there's definitely check out last night's when we have you can skim through the thumbnail. And when you see us going through Steve G's interview, there's a little message that I have. There needs to be there as long as one family doesn't want this property torn down, you don't tear it down. Period. And the university's response is so out of touch with reality. And the word that they used, the wording is so disrespectful to the families. No. But unfortunately, we were already at the point where all these other things were supposed, not things maybe worked for a while, but unfortunately we're at the point where there needs to be a protest in front of at the house. There needs to be a protest, and somebody that is able and has the ability to go out there. I wish it was going on when I was there, but there has to be a protest on the property, and it has to start tomorrow. It has to start tomorrow. It has to start Tuesday. It has to start before the holidays. It needs to start now. And that's why I was pleading with any, YouTubers out there that have the availability and the financial availability to fly out there and, meet up with Steve G. Meet up with Steve G. You know what I'm saying? Because you heard what he was saying last night. It's heartbreaking. Meet up with Steve G. Get a freaking protest set up. Stand out there. Go to the community and be like, you know what? We know. And a lot of them probably wouldn't even feel comfortable being out there. But you know what? Some of them would. Some of them would. It needs to be protested. And when you think about it, everybody, if Steve G was out there with people protesting and that made the news, would that not then make the university go, whoa, we got Steve G out there. We got other family members out there. We got protests going on saying that they don't, no demo a no-go, hell no, and then you have the local news go out there and the local news is videotaping all of that. Yeah, that's what it's going to take. The petitions and the calls and the emails, that stuff worked for a while. Listen, people, we only have 8 days. You take away Christmas Eve, you take away Christmas, and you take away weekends, and there's 8 days left. 8 days. There needs to be a protest to stop the demo, and the community has to be involved too. Because the university is blaming it on the community for the reason to demo it. Because if you look at their response is saying, well, even though we know that there's some families, are emotional about it, this and that, uh, it needs to be removed for the rest of the community to move on and heal and all this other stuff. They keep blaming the community for the reasons why they want to get rid of the house. And that's why I'm saying it's at a point where it has to be some of the community that is out there. And I know that when it's in a small community, it's scary to be somebody out there that people are going to recognize, right? And you're going to go to stores and people are going to go, I get it. You know what I'm saying? And that's why you need some of us out there. You need family members out there. You need people that then those people that are, worried about the and they see, you know what? They're out there yelling. They're out there screaming. Maybe I don't have the comfort or the strength to go out there and scream and yell, but at least if I'm standing there, even if I don't say nothing and I don't have a sign, at least if I'm standing there, that still makes a positive impact when it comes to any kind of local news coming around and then they're videotaping. So what if people aren't having a sign moving their hands when you see those amount of people and then you see the people that have the strength and have the ability to speak and be loud and they're being loud? Then you have that and you have the people and then you have the university having to backtrack. That's the only way that this demo is going to stop. And I wish I was there. I really do. I wish I was there. Because I'd be like, yo, we ain't got one more fucking minute to waste. We need to do it now. We need to start now. Now we need to start. Tomorrow might be too late. It needs to be today. What's up, Mickey? What's up, Nina? Aunt B. I know they did. And that's what I'm saying, Shonda. It's going to take public pressure. Petitions, calls, emails, we've already done them. They're not going to do anything. It's going to take public pressure. It's going to take public pressure, local news, then the university having to see the local news displaying the public pressure, and then the public pressure having to make the university back off the demolition. And that's the only way it's going to happen. And if people want it to be backed off, because history repeats itself, you already know what they're going to do. If we're able to get it stopped, if protests are able to get it stopped, it's going to be able to stop it for a month or 2 months or 3 months. And then there's going to it's going to be multiple times, right? But when there's enough multiple times, the university, because of public pressure, will have no choice but to back off. Because when you're talking about business decisions, as much as you want something, when it comes to public pressure, like the business that Scott Green is running, he cannot afford to lose the public with his power. Regardless of if it's a crime scene, regardless if it doesn't, wherever it doesn't, whoever name is on it, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. Even if it's just an X, it doesn't matter. Public pressure at this point is the only thing that's going to be able to make the difference. And that's why there has to be a protest. Oh, you can't wait to say bye to 23? All you can do is try, Shonda. I know. But what else can we? What other option is there? except for taking it. What other option is there? Does anybody have any other options on what you could do? Because calls, emails, petitions ain't going to do nothing. If a protest doesn't do nothing, well, then what else could you do? What else could you do? That's why I'm saying, if there's nothing else that can happen, you might as well try. Because the worst thing about never trying is you never achieve success. If you never try, you never achieve success. No matter how many times, how outnumbered you may be, how out of scale it may be, it doesn't matter. As long as there's heart, there's passion, there's determination, there's effort, anything can happen. Then that's what they should do, Shonda. I would love, I would love it for them when they first brought up. It's interesting you brought that up, because when they first brought that up about demolishing the house the very first time, that's what I actually said. Why don't you build a box around it? If you're worried about people seeing it, build a box around it. And that would be the perfect thing. I think that would be the best thing. Why don't they start a GoFundMe to build a box, or somebody from the area start something where they can build something around it, so therefore they can preserve it. Because the only reason the family wants it there is for the trial. It don't need to be seen. It doesn't need, the only time you need to go in there is for the trial. So have it boxed up. That would be the best thing. Because it's not about the case, Shonda. It's about the family. And that's how I'm looking at it. I'm not looking about how it's going to help the case. I'm looking at the family. And that's why I keep saying over and over, as long as one family doesn't want that house demoed, because they're valid points. What happens if BK gets off? But as long as one of the family doesn't want the house demoed, then I'm all for not having the house demoed, regardless if it helps the case or not, because it's about helping them. If it matters to them, if it helps them, if it helps them sleep better and helps them process and handle all of the horrible things that they've had to experience, damn straight, keep the house up, and I'll do whatever I can. Even if it's just a voice speaking about it, I'll do whatever I can to promote that. Nobody is, Quinny. To everybody, it's like, what are you doing? And that's what I'm saying. They keep blaming the community. They keep blaming the community, and the community has to be the one to say no. What trauma? What's worse of trauma? The family knowing that the house that they need up for their own justification for their victims, then what's the worst trauma out of having one of your own children being brutally attacked and unalived? You know what I mean? I'm worried about the families. So to me, the families are the ultimate when it comes to trauma. And that's who I'm worried about, is the families. No, they're not. That's why, we went over the demo statements in last night's show. Right. That's what I'm saying, Katrina. So what about somebody that lives here that, what about the families? They're the ones that are most affected. That's who I care about. That's why ever since I've just been saying the whole time, if one family doesn't, then that's what I'm supporting, because it's about the victims, the families, and then the communities. I understand what you mean at Sigma Chi. I understand what you mean at Sigma Chi. But you're talking about a parent, not a sibling. You're talking about a parent. And to me, the parents' wishes when it comes to, let's build a box around it, Shonda. And then guess what? Nobody has to see it. Because guess what? Whether you're going to demolish it, and this is what I'm trying to explain, whether you're going to demolish it or it's there, do you not think that siblings would still look over at that area and still be reminded? Just because you take a house away doesn't mean that the memory goes away with it. Just because it's not standing there at the property doesn't mean they're not going to look over in that area from Sigma Chi and still remember the same exact thing. They're always going to remember it. So when it comes to the parents that don't want this property torn down, I have to go with the parents. I have to. When you break it all down, trust me, Shonda, I've thought about every avenue and everything that you're putting out there, and they're all great points. I've already thought about them, and after everything that it's about the parents' wishes, and that's what I'm rolling with. We just don't know. We just don't know. Nobody can say that. I'm a parent myself. So to say that would even be possible is ludicrous. Coming from a parent, like I'm a parent, I don't know how many parents are out there, but coming from a parent, you could never choose. Never. And to say that a parent could, well, if you can as a parent, well, I think you need to recheck your parenting, because it's not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be equal all the way down. They're not even fighting it, though. That's the misconception out there. They're not even fighting it. They're just not even having any input into it. It's either or. Exactly, Quinny. Exactly. Yeah, you could not put one over the other. There's no way. And if you're that kind of parent, I'm sorry, you got to recheck your parenting skills, because it's kind of lopsided. Put a box around it. You know what I'm saying? But you're not taking away the memory. The people are going to look over there in the same spot, whether it's there or not, and they're going to remember the same thing anyway. So when it comes to the families feeling like it, and we all do too, you hear all the ex-cops, you hear all the ex agency people and stuff, and even on mainstream media, all of them are saying that they don't want, that it's odd that they're tearing it down. You know what I'm saying? So when you have everybody except for the university, you know what I'm saying? Then you kind of should go with, again, the family, the ultimate victims, besides the people that lost their lives that night, or morning, whatever you call it. All right, so I'm gonna flip up that Steve G interview, and then we're gonna go back into some footage here. Let me get to the Steve G. Oh, this is from yesterday. So I'm going to play this first, and then we'll play that Steve G interview here. 1 second. News Nation. Oh, they got some new people on there too. Oh, I have to, hold on. Stop screen. Present. Right here. All right, there we go.
To discuss this case further, our
This is
former
from
FBI
yesterday.
special agent and News Nation contributor Jennifer Coffendorfer
All about
and prominent trial and criminal attorney Dante Mills. Thank you for joining me tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Well, Jennifer, I do want to go ahead and start with you. We know Brian Koberger's defense team was in the house where the college students died Thursday and Friday of this week to gather evidence. What kind of evidence do you think they were trying to collect?
Well, I think they were going through that house again one more time before it's going to be destroyed to make sure they didn't miss anything, probably to make measurements and to just do another analysis of that house in terms of dimensions and so on. We know or believe that the prosecution will have some sort of model, and I think they wanted to go through and make their own assessments.
Like I said, they're probably going to use both models. They're probably going to use the one that showed you the leather, quote, corduroy couch. You know, that's the Nintendo 64 graphics. And then you have what the FBI brought back in. We went on a couple episodes ago, we went over the different technologies that was used a month after the crime. And then when the FBI went back, we showed the different technologies of that too. And if you're familiar with MRIs, it's almost like slice images with the property and everything that's inside of it. So you can actually add or remove slices depending on what you're talking about, and it'll give you a different kind of visual there too. So I don't think that they were necessarily going to show up to investigate tunnels, and I don't think that they were going there to do anything nefarious. I think they were going there because they were going to use, seriously, a couple episodes ago, we went through the 3D technology. You'll see what they were using, then you'll see what they use, and you'll see the difference. And I'm like if you're familiar with MRIs, and you know what I mean when it comes to slices, then you'll know the actual, not only the technology, but the type of visuals that it can do. Now, it's not the same thing as a house, and I'm not saying that it would be compared to that, but what I'm saying is that you can literally like add inch at a time, up and down, and just think of Sims, but think of like inch up and down at a time, where you can literally, like, it's almost like seeing a 3D print being done. You know, I don't know how to explain it. No, that's, everybody realizes that, I think, Chandra. It's just when the family wants the house to stay up, because just like all the other investigators and things, well, then that's what should happen. You know, when you have even MSM saying, why should it be tore down? You know, it has to make everybody kind of sit back and go, huh? Because if MSM's saying it, well, then that says something, right? Because MSM's been the one that's always been on the frickin' hunt for BK. Why are they not on the hunt about this? It should say something to a lot of people out there when it comes to this case, when you have even MSM saying why.
Dante, officials plan to begin demolition of this home by December 28th. This is crazy. What is the push to do this? Why do this without a trial date? And when do you think a trial date is even going to be set?
Well, you have to remember that this property is someone's investment, right? They didn't live in the house. They rented this house to college students. You have to imagine that that's the way they made money for their family. So although this heinous crime happened in their house, you can't ask them to put their house on hold and turn it into a museum when they needed it for profit or to feed their families. So oftentimes I have a lot of cases where the crime scene is cleaned up.
Yeah, you see her shaking her head. She's like, dude, the university owns it, bro. What are you talking about? For people to feed their family, that's why she's shaking her head even. She's like, dude, why do they continue to have people that are on there that are uneducated about this damn case? I don't understand it. I really don't understand it. I really don't understand it. News Nation, Court TV, these other channels, they continue to have these people on there that have no idea. This guy's talking like the landlord still owns the house and needs to feed his family. What, dude? What, dude? Well, we all have our opinions. We had that discussion last night.
When they needed it for profit or to feed their families.
And
so oftentimes I have a lot of cases where the crime scene is cleaned up. So crimes happen everywhere, a supermarket, a store. You don't shut that place down until the trial of that crime is over. That place is cleaned up, but what you first do is do your investigation. Both sides have the opportunity to come in and have it inspected. That will happen before it's demolished. But after that, there's really no real reason to hold this property. How
about I take your opinion seriously when you realize that the university owns the property and not the landlord, buddy?
Hostage from the owner and say they
Just
can't
saying.
do anything with it.
It's been an
Jennifer,
investment for the
you're
university.
Kind of shaking your head over there. What do you have to say in regards to that?
See,
Sorry,
she even
so
saw
what
her
I have
shake.
to say, first of all, is that owner bequeathed that house to the university. So right now it's owned by the university.
Duh.
The university's plan is merely to make a memorial out of it.
Why are you
So
even
there's
on
no
News Nation,
cost
bro?
Issue. There's no issue at
Oh
all
my
here
gosh.
that's pressing. Secondarily, there's a lot to be obtained by going into this house for jurors potentially.
Right.
Listen, nothing is
Hello.
going to change in terms of how long it would take to get from the second floor to the
Right.
third floor.
Right.
What it would sound like.
Wow, I'm
between the
actually
rooms
agreeing
of
with
Dylan
her.
Mortensen
Holy
and where
shit.
Xana and Ethan were killed.
Wow.
Also angles. What did Dylan Mortensen? What angle did she have on Brian Koberger when he walked out?
Whoa.
All of that is going to be lost with the loss of this
Hello?
house.
What? Holy crap. Jennifer Coffindaffer. I can't believe that we agree. Holy fucking shit. Now, if anybody needs to hear, what's up, American Princess? If anybody needs to hear why this property should not be torn down, I'm going to go ahead and replay this again because that was beautifully said, and I'm going to reach out and tell her this.
So right now it's owned by the university.
Wow.
The university's plan.
These are the
to make a
reasons right
memorial
here,
out
people.
of it. So there's no
These
cost
reasons.
issue. There's no issue at all here that's pressing. Secondarily, there's a lot to be obtained by going into this house for jurors potentially. Listen, nothing is going to change in terms of how long it would take to get from the second floor
Nope.
to the third floor.
Nope.
What it would
Nothing's
sound
going
like
to change.
between the rooms.
Yeah, there's not going to be evidentiary value, but when it comes to the jury, if the jury needs to go there, we haven't even, it's just like Steve G said, we have a date set for the demo, but we don't even have a date set for the trial. Hello? If that doesn't shock you, what doesn't?
Get from the second floor to the third floor. What it would sound like between the rooms of Dylan Mortensen and where Xana and Ethan were killed. Also angles. What did Dylan Mortensen, what angle did she have on Brian Koberger when he walked out? All of that is going to be lost with the loss of this house.
Well, I do want to go ahead and play a say, what did you have to say, Dante?
Kelsey, if I can, so generally.
Nobody, she didn't say anything about putting a memorial there, Shonda. Where did she say they're not? Let me listen to it again. I don't remember her saying anything about a memorial. Hold on. Maybe I didn't hear it all.
What do you have to say in regards to that?
Sorry. So what I have to say, first of all, is that owner bequeathed that house to the university. So right now it's owned by the university. The university's plan is merely to make a memorial out of it. So there's no cost issue. There's no.
To make it's not the university's plan to make a memorial out of it, which they're not. They've already had the memorial garden. They already showed you the grass lot that they're going to have it. They've already raised over $200 and some $1,000 for this memorial garden that's going on their property. I already did. That's going on their property. That it's gonna be okay. Like I said, we all have our own opinions. I'm sorry. Jeez.
No issue at all here that's pressing.
Somebody's
Secondarily,
fired
there's
up.
a lot to be obtained by going into this house for jurors potentially. Listen, nothing is going to change in terms of how long
Nothing's
it
gonna
would take to get from the
change.
second floor to the third floor, what it would sound like between the rooms
If the
of Dylan
jurors,
Mortensen and
the
where
family
Xana
members,
and Ethan were killed. Also angles, what did Dylan Mortensen, what angle did she have on Brian Koberger when he walked out? All of that is going to be lost with the loss of this house.
all of it is going to be lost. Everything that she just said. Because it's going to, Quinny, the reason that it's not going there is because it's going to be a reminder. So when we went into the zoning committee meeting where they were discussing before they removed the garage off the property and did some remodeling, and they really did clear out a whole bunch of trees in that neighborhood. They were talking about they almost weren't able to switch it around because the whole water situation, because they don't have enough water. They were worried about water. That was the main thing that they were worried about first. Do we have the water to deliver to a property that's going to house more people? So first thing they were worried about was the water supply. The second thing they were worried about was parking. That's why they had to remove the garage, because in order to remove the garage, they had to have additional feet of parking. So that's why they removed the garage. Now, when it comes to demoing the property, unless they build, because it is a lot, if you go to the zoning show that we watched, it's a lot that's supposed to have 5 properties, but there's only 4 on that lot. Okay. So really, they have the availability to have 2 more properties on that certain section of the block. But with the way that everything is built and situated, it makes it hard, because then just like right here, that's why you have the house and the way that it's structured and everything like that. Now, 2 reasons I don't think they even thought or want to put a memorial there. Number one, because it's still going to be a constant reminder. And it would be even more of a reminder, because what their idea is by getting rid of this house, not only you're getting rid of it quick as hell, but you're also getting rid of the people that are going to that house, right? So any news stations, any students that are in the area, anybody that just wants to come by, YouTubers, national media, whoever, because once you take that house away, then why are those people, like I said before, if you don't have the house, then what other than the going to the back lot or exploring some other stuff that really, if the house isn't there, well, then you cut down the traffic dramatically from like 75% down to 25% just with the house being gone. So if you put a memorial there, well, then you're still going to have, you maybe won't have that 75% traffic, but you'll have like 60% traffic, because you still have a memorial there. You still have a reason for people to go there. Nobody's going to go there if it's just a parking lot. So if you mix what the zoning committee was having an issue with when it came to the rezoning of the block itself before they got to where they got here, that's what tells me they're probably just going to, because of the water supply and because of the parking, they're probably going to vote that it be just a lot, unless they build some kind of smaller house or some. But honestly, I don't know. You know, what else do you think they would put there? I just see them, just based off of the zoning meeting, I just see them, you know, just leaving it being a lot, for parking, for parking. And then because if you go to those meetings, they know this. They're like, they even made comments about how they idolize Pullman and the way that they're able to do their zoning for all of all of the properties and the distributions of electricity and services and things like that. You can hear them sit there and say that they idolize Pullman, and they also state in that same meeting about how Moscow doesn't have water. That's been one of the biggest problems they've always had, was being able to create a water supply for all of these residents. So when you have those two, I would say likely student housing. I mean, that would make sense, right? Because that's where student housing is. But then when you actually sit back and you watch what they are really concerned about in these zoning meetings, and it's on YouTube, you can watch them on your own. We even showed and shared the stuff when we went through the zoning meeting. I'd definitely check out that episode if you haven't, where we discussed this stuff, and we play it. Yoli was up there with us too. You're going to understand. They're going to be really worried about the water and the parking. All you have to do is see it from then, and you can even see them. They have their own YouTube channel. Thank you, Miranda. Ticket number 84. Appreciate that. Then the cops wouldn't need cars to go. I doubt it's going to even be a substation or anything like that. Like I said, when obviously, like, the most common sense choice is gonna say housing, but then you have to explore other theories, thoughts, and opinions, and you go beyond the norm. You go beyond what somebody initially first comes to, and you go beyond the different situations, and you kind of add that into it, and then it kind of gives you a broader perspective of the possibilities of what could literally be taking place there. We could all say they're going to put up another house. It's what after, you know what I mean? And that's when you have to look at the stuff in the background, the meetings, the things that are discussed, what their issues are, what their concerns are, all these other things that go into play when it comes to any kind of development. Because just like you're putting a new building up there, it's developing when you're refurbishing or restoring as well. That's what they did here at 1112, which is why they did the refurbish and got rid of the garage. There's a ton of lack of transparency at every turn. Right. You know what I'm saying, Yoli? When Coffin Daffer even agrees with not demolishing the house, that's what I was saying. When MSM, which has been the ones that have been totally about frying BK. I mean, you've heard her, when it comes to the ID and all these other things, they've all been about 100, 100, 100. And when somebody that's on mainstream media that continues to be about 100, 100, 100, and then all of a sudden they're like, whoa, I don't think it should be demoed either. That says something, and that should say something to the public, especially to everybody over here on the YouTube true crime community, because we all know what they've been doing to BK this whole time when it comes to the spins and everything, right? They've been nothing ever since the arrest. They've been nothing about pumping out information that makes everybody think that BK is 100% guilty. And then when all of a sudden they're going, yo, I don't think it should be torn down. When you got Duty Run, when you got all these other high profile people out here saying they don't feel like that should say something to the public. You know what I mean? You just blow the confetti and the fog out of the way, look through, and you're like, holy shit. When MSM, especially MSM, when MSM is saying this shit, yo, the general public, no, MSM, if they were continuing on the bashing, this is what MSM would say if they were continuing on the bashing, and this is the difference that you guys need to pay attention to. Here's the difference. If MSM was on the continuing bashing of BK, they would say, tear down the house as soon as possible because it doesn't matter because the prosecution has everything that they want. That's what them continuing to bash BK people, they would be saying, go ahead and tear it down. The prosecution has everything that they need. We don't need the house because the house isn't going to matter. That is what they would be saying. Now, when those same people switch it up and then say it shouldn't be tore down, the same people that would have been saying it doesn't matter if they tear it down or not because the prosecution has way more evidence than they're showing, that's what you need to think about, everybody. That's the difference between what the message of MSM is saying here and what they were saying, because if they were about condemning BK like they've been since January, they would be saying the house doesn't matter, and they'd be saying the prosecution has way more and the house isn't even going to make a difference because they're going to convict BK no matter what. When MSM says it shouldn't be torn down, take notice, people. Take notice. Take notice.
Well, I do want to go ahead and play a say. What do you have to say, Dante?
Kelsey, if I can. So generally,
I'm not going to listen to what you're saying, dude. You don't even know if the university owns it or not.
So confident about their case, they're not worried at all.
No, I'm saying
standing.
I'm saying that's what I'm saying is that that's what MSM. If they were really on the BK 100% guilty when it came to the view about tearing the house, then what I'm saying is they would be saying tear the house down because the prosecution has everything. That goes along. Think about it, everybody. Just go back in time. Think. That's their message this whole time. That all of this other stuff that you got to think deep. All of this other stuff that we've been questioning on our show this whole time, they've been telling us there's so much. There's so much. So that's why I'm saying MSM, if they're on the BK 100% train when it comes to the demo, they would again say, because history repeats itself, they would again say, it doesn't matter about the demo the house because the prosecution already has so much. The thing that they've been continuing to say this whole time. This is why you have to pay attention and you have to have your blinkers up when MSM says that they don't believe that they should be demoing it. Don't wake up. Wake up when MSM is doing it. Whoa. That's the headlight coming at you. Shazam. That's the headlight. Listen, anybody can say what they want. In my opinion, and tell me if it don't make sense. If MSM, they would continue to say the same thing, and they would say that the house doesn't matter, and that the prosecution has all this other evidence, go ahead and tear it down, because the jury's not going to need it, because there's so much evidence to convict him anyway. They're not going to sit there and go, they shouldn't tear it down for clicks and views. That's not the MSM way. That's not the MSM way. You got to pay. It's a small words. You got to pay attention.
The amount of stuff we have, Steve. Relax. You're a very aggressive father. Relax.
Jennifer, how confident are you that by now the prosecutors have all that they need?
Well, I think it's exactly right. I think that's why the prosecution is not objecting. I think the defense isn't objecting because they don't want those jurors in there to see that scene, even though it's cleaned up to the degree it could be. I do agree that this is a very strong case, but if you look at the Murdoch
she said
case,
it there
which is
too.
a South Carolina case that recently happened, whenever you
got to
have
go outside the box.
Murder victims, like in this situation,
like Taco Bell.
Very advantageous for jurors to be able to go through such a scene. And in fact, the jurors remarked, the Murdoch, that they were able to help it helped them reach their verdict. So I find it just very improper, really, that they would be destroying this house.
Well, Dante, if all of the evidence has been collected from the house, would there be any benefit in keeping the house still physically there?
There absolutely could be benefit, and I agree
Yeah,
with the guest.
when you say could be, hello, that's all you need. There's no reason that this house should be demoed. Period. And I'm sorry, but I look at it this way, and if you disagree, you can disagree. If you feel like the house should be demoed, then I don't feel like you're about the truth and justice. Because if you're about the truth and justice, like this guy's even saying, there's absolute value. If you're about the truth and justice and you're about innocent until proven guilty, well, then that means that BK has a possibility of being found innocent. And if you think that the house isn't going to make a difference if somebody's found not guilty, which is their due right, then you don't believe about justice and truth. Because if you're willing to disregard any kind of evidence, how minute or huge you think it is, when you hear could, that tells you all you need to know. And like I said, if there's 1% of a family that doesn't want it to be torn down, and there's 1% of a reason that it could be beneficial when it comes to somebody's truth and justice, I'm sorry, we're not on the same path. And I would ask you politely to go ahead and exit the show, because we are definitely not on the same path for truth and justice, and we're not going to be able to work together to achieve that goal with our differences in the approach.
Benefit, because there's nothing like hearing sounds from one floor as opposed to the other. But practically, that's just not how our court system works.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider.
All right. And now we're going to switch to the Steve G interview from a couple days ago that was on News Nation. We're going to go through that again. We went through it last night and we talked about it. Stuff that he was talking about, we were using footage to kind of reference. We might do it. I'm going to go back to the footage. But this is something that I wanted to kind of show again before we get back to more of the footage and photography.
Live by Steve Gonzalez. He is the father of one of the 4 students killed, Kaylee Gonzalez. Steve, thank you for being on tonight. Just your reaction to getting this news. Was this a surprise, hearing that there's a date scheduled and it is December 28th?
Yeah, I was surprised that we're at a moment in the case that we don't even have a trial date. You know, we've had a trial date for almost the vast majority of once they had a suspect. So we don't have a trial date, but we have a date to have, you know, largely the biggest piece of evidence being destroyed, which just seems backwards. You know?
That's all it's about, G. That's all it's about.
I would have expected that something this monumental would have been discussed behind the scenes, that your lawyer, Shannon Gray, would have been in conversations at least to give you guys, you know, enough time to process this. And it sounds like that's not the case. You didn't get much time. Different than the time that we got
2 days
of this announcement.
2 days. JLR, it's just like the Gonzalez's when they found out their daughter was unalived. Everybody, it's the same way. They found out that their daughter was unalived from social media, phone call, message, DM. They found out multiple hours before the law enforcement contacted them. Okay? They not only found out that their loved one passed away from social media, they also learned that the house was getting demoed on social media before as well. Why do you think the defense... And shout out to JLR. Why do you think the defense was hurrying up and coming there? That was a sign right there. Why do you think back on October 31st, when we found out that the FBI was there, Why do you think back then I'm like, yo, they're going to do the demo on an anniversary of Connect and BK? One of those 4 days. I'm sorry to hear that, Quinny. Like I said, when you got MSM, when they got MSM saying it shouldn't be demoed, or you got dude that didn't even know the universities owned it for how long, saying that there could, yeah, that's 1%, people. That's 0.01%, people. And when you're talking about truth and justice, that 0.01% makes a hell of a fucking difference. If you're about truth and justice, you're about truth and justice. Even if it's 0.01% or it's a could. It's about justice and truth.
And it is December 28th.
What's up,
Yeah,
W8?
I was definitely more.
No, they won't be
surprised that
allowed. There's not going to be drones allowed during the demo.
Yeah, I was definitely more. I was surprised that we're at a moment in the case that we don't even have a trial date. You know, we've had a trial date for almost the vast majority of once they had a suspect. So we don't have a trial date, but we have a date to have, you know, largely the biggest piece of evidence being destroyed, which just seems backwards, you know.
So I would have expected that something this monumental would have been discussed behind the scenes, that your lawyer, Shannon Gray, would have been in conversations at least to give you guys, you know, enough time to process this. And it sounds like that's not the case. You didn't get much time, different than the time that we got in terms of this announcement.
No.
I'm sorry. If you're not about truth and justice, we just don't have time for it. And I don't have to ban or block anybody. I just politely ask people to leave.
And I kind of take this as from a perspective of that my opinion's not important as a parent. That's not it. What is important is the lead investigators at the county, state, and federal level.
Thank you for yours.
It is to my knowledge that they are not in all agreement. And we tried to get them to all come in agreement and address, you know, come out with a formal statement. So if they can't all agree, I find it very hard for the parents to all agree. You know, we're all trying to get through this the best way we can. I want to be absolutely respectful to every single one of the parents. I understand that this has to go down, and I'm not going to fight it forever. And I want to be careful what I fight, because there's, you know, this is a losing battle. But
well, it's,
you know,
it's a long battle as well, as we've come to understand. That brings me to the issue of Mrs. Chapin. Ethan Chapin's mom, Stacy, has given that statement to me, saying that, you know, we're okay with this at this point. We agree with the university. We think it's in the best interest of the kids who are there, including her 2 kids, and the community as a whole. What are your thoughts about that?
I totally respect it.
Yeah,
I get it.
Just like he was saying. So anybody wants to question, how can you choose? You can't choose one family over the other. Exactly what Steve G is saying. You have to respect it. It will be taken down. So one part, right? Because there's 2 sides. One wants it down, one doesn't. Guess what? How do you have both of them get their way? Well, it's already going to be torn down in the future anyway, right, people? So the other family already wins. If we're going to be fair, it's not about choosing one family over the other. It's if you want to be fair. The family that wants it torn down, guess what? It will be torn down one day. And then for the families that are on the other side, you don't tear it down. So then both families get their wishes. To try and twist that And to say that that's trying to pick one family over the other, that's ludicrous. I'm sorry. You have to look at it like this. You have to put yourself in other people's shoes in order, or try, because we might not be able to. I haven't lost a child, so I don't know. But what I can do is put myself there as a father of a daughter, and I can go, you know what? Man, if this happened, so when you're about everybody winning, when you're about community, it's not about choosing one over the other, because if you have that approach, you're ignorant. It's about the approach of everybody winning together. That's why last night I'm preaching about, I don't even have to be the one out there. Somebody that has the availability, go out there, start a protest, be the person that's being looked up to for being out there protesting the demo. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to be the one to sit there and go, damn, I'm sitting here screaming. No, that I would totally highlight whoever has the availability, because it's about everybody winning. And it's about every family winning. You know what? Family that wants it torn down, it will be torn down. Please be patient, because if the prosecution does have enough evidence, trust me, it ain't going to be very long, right, everybody? It ain't going to be very long if the prosecution really has the cards that they're playing. But you don't sit there and tear it down to appease one family, which you're already going to appease in the future, because it's already going to be torn down. That's a known fact, 100%. Hello. But to not think about the other families that are on the other side, that is disrespectful. You're not choosing one over the other. You're choosing everybody. You're choosing everybody. That means you leave it up for the parents that want it left up, and then when it comes to tear it down, well, then that family gets their wish, and both families feel satisfied and they feel like they got what they should have got. Everybody wins. When you have that approach, everybody wins.
And I'm not going to fight it forever. And I want to be careful what I fight, because there's, this is a losing battle. But
well, and it's a long battle as well, as we've come to
for him to
understand.
feel that way.
That brings me to the issue of Mrs. Chapin. Ethan Chapin's mom, Stacy, has given that statement to me, saying that, we're okay with this at this point. We agree with the university. We think it's in the best interest of the kids who are there, including her two kids and the community as a whole. What are your thoughts about that?
Which they would. But it's about every family winning. They'll get that win in the future, especially if the prosecution has what they say they do.
I totally respect it.
Totally respect it.
I have leaked footage. I've seen things that they may have not seen. I know for a fact the path that this white Salon, this car took, and people are gonna.
And people in the comment section that are sitting there on last night's video saying, Steve said Sentra. Steve said Sentra. No, he said Cilantro. Because he probably thought Sentra and Elantra, because that's what MPD came out with. They first came out, suspect vehicle -1, a 2019 to a 2003 Sonata. Sentra. My bad. Sentra. I'm even fucking it up. Sentra. It went from that. Then it went to the 2011 to 2013 Elantra. And then when we read the article last night from the person the door driver that dropped off, or the rideshare driver that dropped off the girls that night, he lived 1,200 feet from BK. He's the one that said, well, I didn't even really think about turning in his car because I could tell it was newer than the model that they were looking for. He even said it. So he didn't say Sentra, people. He said cilantro, which isn't that like some kind of Italian food or something?
After that, this
Something
white
like
cilantro, this car took,
cilantro.
and people are going to wonder what he was doing when he parks in certain locations for.
Yeah, because he's probably going, why did they say Sentra? Why did I did it too, cilantro. Why did they say Sentra and why did they say Elantra? And then he switched it to white car. Watch.
I've seen things that they may have not seen. I know for a fact the path that this white cilantro, this car took. People are going to wonder what he was doing when he parks in certain locations for extended amount of time. What was he looking at? I want to know what he was looking at. And I don't know how you can see what this man was looking at without the house being there. What window?
The Incel, and I'm going to be making a highlight of that shit after I'm done. The Incel at Queen Road Apartments. So look for that highlight to come out because I'm going to be using the photos, the picture, and the explanation for that. I'm not so sure the person was driving anymore. And when I go back to the initial thoughts, when the crime first took place and before we even knew BK or the white car, you know, in the very beginning, I was thinking maybe the bicycle. And then I've been thinking the car the whole time. But now, after tonight, the Incel at Queen Road Apartments. That's who.
Windows was he peering into? Why did he pick that location to stop at? Why did he keep going back to these certain locations? And I don't know about the other 12 or 13 times that he was there. I just know of the day that this happened and the footage that was given to me. So I'm going to do what's best for my girl. I'm going to protect her. I'm going to weigh on the side of what's best for her and making sure that I'm not going to let something slip through our hands that I could have said something. But I do understand it has to go.
I have this question for you because up until now I hadn't really contemplated this, but do you think it's at all possible that the prosecution is so confident about their case, they're not worried at all about the house standing?
I've been told that exactly. I've been told 100%. The amount of stuff we have, Steve, relax.
See, and that's why I'm saying MSM, that's been about BK being guilty from the get-go, would have said that exact thing. Tear down the house. It doesn't matter. The prosecution has enough evidence anyway. That's why I'm saying when MSM is saying, yo, I wouldn't tear that should speak volumes to you guys. What is cilantro? What is it? It's something. What's cilantro? What is that? I've heard that word. Cilantro? Something. Tell me, it's bugging me now.
I have this question for you because up until now I hadn't really contemplated this, but do you think it's at all possible that the prosecution is so confident about their case, they're not worried at all about the house standing?
I've been told that exactly. I've been told 100%. The amount of stuff we have, Steve, relax. You know, you're a very aggressive a father. Relax. But it's not in my character to just sit back and just know that an opportunity isn't being seized upon. And I couldn't live with myself. I couldn't live with myself if later on, you know, something happened and a jury member said, you know what, it really came down to the fact that I couldn't see firsthand. They told us the ideal jury member was someone who had thousands of acres and had no time to watch TV. He was out on the farm. Well, I don't feel like that kind of guy is going to see the footage that I seen and not want to understand what was going on in the house. And a computer program is going to mean nothing to that farmer. almost zero value in a computer model to a farmer like that.
I want to dovetail off something you just said, and that is that they've told you that, Steve, the amount of stuff we have, relax. Are you referring to like victims advocates or people actually in the know of the case, that they have such a solid case that you should rest easy?
Because I've made myself vocal, people have reached out to me, and some of those people have just said that if what I know is accurate, Steve, there's a massive amount of information. This case will open up other investigators to know that there's a whole nother level of data being collected on people, and some of that will come out in this case.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television.
So, and that's basically what MSM would have been saying. Look. What's up, Lola? Look, the prosecution has all this evidence. They don't need the house. They don't need it. Well, you know, like I said, we'll listen to it again here real quick. Steve was the one that was giving us, we all know this, Steve was the one that was giving us all this info in the very beginning when the police weren't. You know, that's why there was some people going, Steve, you need to be quiet. And we're over here like, yo, thank you, sir. Because without you, everybody would be like, what? Always applauded it. What's up? We'll go through again what he says, and then we'll get back to some more footage for a little bit.
And it is December 28th.
Yeah, I was surprised that we're at a moment in the case that we don't even have a trial date. You know, we've had a trial date for almost the vast majority of once they had a suspect. So we don't have a trial date, but we have a date to have, you know, largely the biggest piece of evidence being destroyed, which just seems backwards, you know.
So I would have expected that something this monumental would have been discussed behind the scenes, that your lawyer, Shannon Gray, would have been in conversations at least to give you guys, you know, enough time to process this. And it sounds like that's not the case. You didn't get much time, different than the time that we got in terms of this announcement.
No, and I kind of take this as from a perspective of that my opinion's not important as a parent. That's not it. What is important is the lead investigators at the county, state, and federal level, and it is to my knowledge that they are not in all agreement. And we tried to get them to all come in agreement and address, you know, come out with a formal statement. So if they can't all agree, I find it very hard for the parents to all agree. You know, we're all trying to get through this the best way we can. I want to be absolutely respectful to every single one of the parents. I understand that this has to go down, and I'm not going to fight it forever. And I want to be careful what I fight, because there's, you know, this is a losing battle. But
well, it's
you know,
it's a long battle as well, as we've come to understand. That brings me to the issue of Mrs. Chapin. Ethan Chapin's mom, Stacy, has given that statement to me, saying that, you know, we're okay with this at this point. We agree with the university. We think it's in the best interest of the kids who are there, including her 2 kids and the community as a whole. What are your thoughts about that?
I totally respect it. I get it. I have leaked footage. I've seen things that they may have not seen. I know for a fact the path that this white Salon, this car took, and people are going to wonder what he was doing when he parks in certain locations for extended amount of time. What was he looking at? I want to know what he was looking at, and I don't know how you can see what this man was looking at without the house being there. What windows was he peering into? Why did he pick that location to stop at? Why did he keep going back to these certain locations? And I don't know about the other 12 or 13 times that he was there. I just know of the day that this happened in the footage that was given to me. So
I wish I could get Taco Bell.
I'm going to do what's best for my girl.
Sounds good.
I'm going to protect her. I'm going to weigh on the side of what's best for her, and making sure that I'm not going to let something slip through our hands that I could have said something. But I do understand it has to go.
I have this question for you.
Understands it has to go, but why now? Why now? I know you guys are talking about tacos now. Look at all the fruit and the peppers and tomatoes and green beans and all that stuff. Man.
For you, because up until now I hadn't really contemplated this, but do you think it's at all possible that the prosecution is so confident about their case, they're not worried at all about the house standing?
Mm-hmm.
I've been told that exactly. I've been told 100%. The amount of stuff we have, Steve, relax. You know, you're a very aggressive a father. Relax. But it's not in my character to just sit back and just know that an opportunity isn't being seized upon. And I couldn't live with myself. I couldn't live with myself if later on, you know, something happened and a jury member said, you know what, it really came down to the fact that I couldn't see firsthand. They told us the ideal jury member was someone who had thousands of acres and had no time to watch TV. He was out on the farm. Well, I don't feel like that kind of guy is going to see the footage that I seen and not want to understand what was going on in the house. And the computer program is going to mean nothing to that farmer.
Damn, he makes a really good point too. They're saying that the jury members that they're going to try and go after are the people that don't even pay attention to TV. There's a lot of them out there too. Like you saw all the rolling hills out there, and you'll see in the footage tons of rolling hills. Okay. Now, it makes a very good point. That's the kind of jury members they're going to be approaching because they feel that they can get the best unbiased opinion, right? Good night. Thank you for all your positive comments too, Quinny. I appreciate you, and sorry again for your loss. So when he's saying that, and he's saying to sit there and expect that person that you're trying to get, right? That's the kind of jury pool you're looking for. Somebody that hasn't seen this footage, somebody that hasn't explored all these things, and to sit there and say, and like he said, what if one of them comes up at the end of the day and says, you know what? We didn't convict BK because I didn't think so-and-so about this corner to this corner. Because I didn't get to walk through the house. Basically what he's saying. Great point. All right, so now what I'm going to do is, give me 1 second here. We're going to sit here and chit chat for a bit. And I'm just going to have this playing in the background. This, while we're sitting here chatting, this is the route. Okay, there's 2 routes on this video. Now, if you want to go see the actual video that I posted on YouTube, it's going to be pretty much the same thing, but it's going to be a full screen version when it comes to it without me sitting here chatting with you. Now, this is just a video that I have. So what I'm going to do is, this is the one that you can see without the commentary. And then we're going to figure out what footage we'll get into next here. Where's it at? All right, so there's the link for that if you want the video without the commentary. They're not allowing drones to be flown above the property while it's happening. So there's 2 things that I included. So this is the outline of every road and turn from the PCA. This is the trip, and there's two things I focus on when this video, because the route going down south, it doesn't matter when I explain it when it comes to these two routes, because I don't even think the person that committed the crime went that far, and you'll see what I'm saying if you haven't seen this before. But definitely save that in your playlist and you can check it out and see what I mean. I do have other videos that have commentary, and then I did one with Yoli, and that was like a 2.5-hour show that we did where we kind of go into it. Now, this right here is all the little turns and this and that and going over here and turning here and going around here and here and here. PCA, exact to the PCA, from the left turn to the right turn to the straight and all that, right? Now, when it comes to this over here, this is once we get to the property, all right, then I bring up the route and I show the map of the route that the person that would have taken if they committed this crime. And then I'll show that screenshot as well. It is Yoli. So I have different videos in my video section that you can check out. Now this one, let me move me out of the way here. All right, this one right here, that shows you saw the previous route, and I'm going to flip back to it in a minute, okay? This is the route that the person would have took if they weren't trying to get caught on surveillance. This is the route that they would have took if they weren't trying to get caught on surveillance. This is the route that they did take. So see this large tan area? See where it says sunshine right in the middle? Go straight up and you see that tan strip that goes left to right? That's the airport. That's the road that goes around up above the airport, and then see where the Moscow, see where the Idaho and Washington state line is, where it's a straight road, and then it comes up. When it comes up, that's when you turn off to go to that road that goes by what I show you at the end of this video. So I show you the ride, or going from BK's apartment to the property according to the roads the PCA says that this person took. And then I also include at the end, I show you the video of the route that somebody would have taken if they were going to commit this crime. Here, let me shrink it a little bit. That way it'll show, even if I got comments highlighting. All right, there we go. Like I said, if you want the full screen, there's none of me on it, no commentary, the full screen. There's the link to the video. Just scroll up. It says no commentary. You get the full screen. And I also did this to show all of the different cameras and the surveillance they would have been driving through. I also did a lot of driving around. I went to Brent Kopaka's apartment building. I went to the parking lot. I even put out a community post because somebody was saying that Kopaka was hanging outside and just jumped in the car on 270 when BK drove by. And it's like, okay, bro, take a look at the area. So you can go to my community post and see what I posted a couple weeks ago. I put photos up and everything and a video and explained it all. So when you come up to this T section, and you'll see what I mean. Right now, we're driving away from Steptoe. All right. This is the way according to the PCA. Now, when we come up to where it's 270 and Stadium Avenue, that's where you would turn right to go to Brent Kopaka's apartment building. Actually, here, let me go ahead and pause this. I'll get that video pulled up here real quick. You know what? Here, let me play it. Let me find out exactly what number it is, because I have so much. Let me see here. Let's see. That's just the general. All right. I think it is this one. No, I was in Moscow right there. No, I'm in Moscow. Right, Bread? If you've already planned it out and stalked the crime, then I'm trying to show you how close Kopaka is. It's not that far. I just don't remember what video it was. I need to have like a catalog written down. All right, that's not it. I bet I have it in a different folder. I bet I do. Oh my gosh, where did I put it? Oh, good night, Lola. Crime Solver, there's so many white cars all over the place. So many. I mean, all over. And this is where I turn right. I believe. Let me see. Let me zoom in. Yeah, this is where I turn right, because if you look at the PCA, it states going north. It states going north on Nevada, then south. Northeast and south, northwest and southeast. I can't find the damn video. I know I have it. There it is. Yeah, here it is. Okay, this was the one. Shit, it's just in a small spot. All right. So we'll go to Steptoe Apartments. And I'll show you guys the route from Steptoe to Kopaka. Not that far at all. You're just talking a couple minutes. And I'll show you I'll go through the parking lot of Kopaka's. I'll explain the different terrains and things like that as we go through it. So right here, I'm just sitting here waiting for some people. Let me scoot it up a little bit. Whoop. All right. Now, the reason I went here is because it says that they went north, west, and southeast on Nevada. The only way that you can go northeast and southwest on Nevada, I'll show you. The only way you can go east and west. The only way that you can go northeast, northwest, and southeast is if you're caught on surveillance at the camera where you truly are going, northwest, southeast. So now I'm going to turn right onto Stadium. Now see straight ahead, the light pole, and then right off to the right where the sidewalk is, that's where Chanley Painter always stands when she has this street in the back of her camera view. So basically, if you were watching Chanley Painter, you would see this car right behind her. That's where she stands when she's doing her stuff. No, this is not live. This is footage that I recorded and clipped together. And then some of the other footage is stuff that I haven't even clipped. I'm going to show you guys how close Steptoe Apartments is to be Kopaka's apartment. So we'll be driving from Steptoe Apartments to Kopaka, and you'll see the route that it takes. So if he was going to Kopaka's, which I don't think so, but if he was, then that's the route. So now we're on the way. This is 270, right? This is according to the PCA. This is 270. So I'm going to skip it up ahead a little bit. We're still on 270. Rolling hills, yada yada, still on 270. Bumpy as hell, rolling hills. Now we're getting ready to get into Moscow. We're about to leave Pullman. Nothing but rolling hills. It might be behind in chat. I'm just seeing this pop up. I don't know. StreamYard and YouTube's bugging, but it says 11:50 and it's 11:50. So I don't know if I have video of it at nighttime too. What's up, Kylie? And we'll go into another show because I would like to allegedly with Brittany J when I was over there last night. Shout out to her again. Thank you for her kindness. We were discussing about the footage and stuff, and she was talking about the footage and things like that, and it seemed like I don't know. I was like, I'd love to maybe have her on for a show, and we just whatever she has questions about or wants to explore, we can just show her the footage and the photos and everything, you know. Have her on for an evening. So now you're coming into Pullman and Moscow, see? You got here, let me back it up just a skosh. All right, now you're coming into Pullman, Moscow. And I want to show you how close it is. When I say that, you see the sign and then the sign? Yeah. All right, that's an interstate sign right there. Welcome to Idaho. Right? Welcome to Idaho. So you got right to the left or to the right. Welcome to Idaho. Now watch how quick. We've just crossed the state line, and look, you got an Applebee's right there. You got Walmart. You got all sorts of restaurants and stores, okay? I've already connected to the 1122 towers back here. I've already connected to them. Right here, I'm connecting. All right, so now we're coming up. If I could skip it ahead. Oh, that's too far. Now I'm going to pause it again on the Idaho sign. Just watch. Watch how close we get. All right. Idaho. Welcome to Idaho. Applebee's already there. Ready? Watch. Welcome to Moscow. Boom. Boom. It is. Welcome to Moscow. That's how quick it is. You cross the border and then you hit Moscow. Now, according to the PCA, you're telling me, so right here, I want to show you guys this as well. And I'm going to switch to the share screen. This is the first stoplight, right? And you can't turn right because it's a T section right here. The first stoplight that you can turn right, you can literally turn right, go by the Kibbe Dome, a couple blocks, and you're at the property. Why? Because watch, I'm going to show you. Barely enters any surveillance once you turn right, okay? That's War Bonnet Drive. That's where you turn to go to Walmart, and you got all the restaurants and Staples and McDonald's and, you know, a sports store. There's U-Haul, all of these stores, right? You're utilizing the tower for 1122 already, right now. You go back here. You are connecting. You're utilizing the towers already. It's already back off there to the right. See that hill? You go over that hill and you come down and you're right at the house. And I just rewound it just to show you guys exactly. Yeah, you're driving down here. You got stores over here. Yeah. If you're not trying to commit the crime, that's a business. I'm still connected. I'm still utilizing the tower that 1122's utilizing. I was utilizing the tower before I even entered into Idaho. And plus, it all depends on what service. But you're always utilizing a tower. Now, when we come up here, this is the first turn or the first stoplight that you can turn right. This is where you would turn if you're trying to avoid all the surveillance. Okay? Perimeter Drive. University of Idaho, little cement, thing right there. This is where you turn right. This is where you leave all of that. See the surveillance? All of that surveillance, that's where you leave all of that surveillance behind, is when you turn right here. And I'm going to bring up the map and I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. All right, so it says Farm Road Perimeter, okay? Farm Road, okay? Farm Road. This is the intersection that we're at. Is it not sharing? Hold on. Why is it? It is. Okay, there we go. All right, Farm Road. This is the intersection we're at. You turn right. You go down. Perimeter Drive. You go around. You go around. You go around. And look, you already hit Perimeter Drive. Turns in to Nez Perce Drive. You can literally go here, boom, you're there. You could literally hit, I mean, yeah, there's the, you know whose house, but we're not worried about that. So I'm going to scroll back up. Perimeter Drive. You go by the Kibbe Dome. You drive down, then it turns to Nez Perce, and then look what happens. Boom. You don't need to go do what we're about to do right here. You don't need to do this anymore. You don't need to do this. You guys didn't see the map? Oh, you see one? Okay. You don't need to. You don't need to go by McDonald's. You don't need to do any of this. And watch, this is according to the PCA. This is what the PCA said BK drove to go commit the crime, people. He could have turned right and went down those little teeny roads I showed you, and boom, he's right there. This is the way he supposedly went. Every turn, every direction. In here, let me go ahead and get rid of me here and zoom it up for you guys. Yeah, there is a, let me switch it back over here. There is a smoke shop, okay? So right before you see right here. So here's the state line. It is legal in Washington, not Idaho. Here's the state line. You literally drive to right here. Look, you're not even that far. You're going from here, state line. You drive up right to here, and look, everybody. Floyd's Cannabis Company. Right there. Floyd's Cannabis Company. And look. State line right here. Floyd's Cannabis Company right there. That's why I brought it up. That's why I brought it up. Maybe that's what his alibi is, and he didn't want to say anything else because maybe his alibi was he was maybe somebody that went by the completely legal for Washington state residents, Floyd's Cannabis Company, and then just went over to Walmart and sat in the parking lot. Why wouldn't somebody from Idaho go over there to Floyd's Cannabis? Because then you have to show your ID. And then they can see that your ID was used to purchase something that you're not able, right? So if the students are worried about having their ID being used, none of them carry them. If the students are worried about not having their ID being used, well, then why wouldn't they pay a couple bucks extra for somebody that does live there to visit the shop and go hang out in the Walmart parking lot? Back to the route. It's completely legal in Washington state, and in Idaho, it is not. Yeah, sir, I was driving around all night, but a lot of it was sitting in Walmart parking lot waiting for people to come get gummies. Nina, the shop is there. The shop is there for people to capitalize off of people that live in a state that it's not legal. So that's why it's right on the border, because they capitalize on all the people that come across the border and want to So you're telling me that he's still doing all this driving, everybody? Instead of hanging right. We're just going to continue to drive around. I'm going to show you Kopaka's footage after this, and then I'm going to show you the grub truck footage after this, where you can see in the daytime what the grub truck parking lot looks like, and it's creepy as hell, yo. There, I'll take that away for you guys. And we'll be back tomorrow night talking more Idaho 4. And I'll be back tomorrow talking about another case here tomorrow morning. This is the route according to the PCA. When they could have turned right after they got into Moscow, everybody. And the road that they could have took instead of driving all around Pullman and all around here in Moscow, I'm going to show you the difference if you haven't seen it yet. What's up, Leslie? Like I said, we got a little bit of Kopaka footage and then grub truck, and then after that I'm going to have to end the night. It's already pretty late. And I got to be up early in the morning for another show. But you can definitely go check out my video section And it has different versions of different footage. If you ever want to check it out, you're more than welcome. There's ones without commentary, ones with commentary, ones with guest and commentary, and ones with none. What's up, Greg? How you doing tonight? All he had to do was turn right after he got into Moscow. And look for the Incel at Queen Road apartment short video to drop in the morning. I might even drop it overnight. And I'm going to have visuals and footage to explain where I'm coming from. The Incel at Queen Road Apartments. Look for it. Or if you want to see it, you can go to the beginning of this episode, because I'm going to be using this episode to make the video of it. So if you want to see it now, you can just go to the beginning and check it out. Still driving. Still driving. I know, Leslie. Every time I go by, there's the mobile gas station. Every time that I go by A&W on this damn shit, I'm like, oh, and we're going to be going by. Because he goes by it on the way there. So we'll be going by that damn A&W again. All right, so this is according to the PCA. This is where BK turns right. And this is how he gets to Indian Hills. And you'll see that curve. And where that curve is at after that curve, that's where you can look to the left and you can see Moscow PD. But this is according to the PCA. Still driving when all you had to do is turn right when you got into Moscow. It was foggy every night, and it was very dangerous. It was very foggy every night to where you couldn't even see 5 feet in front of you, and you're going 65 on the highway, 50, 55. It's especially with somebody that's not familiar with the area. It was definitely creepy because, you know, when you're driving there, when you're driving on the outskirts, because I stayed in the outskirts. When you're driving in the outskirts and you're out in those wilderness roads and you're hitting the fog, and the ditches are, some of the ditches are literally hundreds of feet down. When you're going through the fog, you know, you're like, and you're not familiar with the area, you're like, holy crap. Like, could I just all of a sudden not know the road's making a sharp turn and I fly off? I mean, it was crazy. All right, so this is Indian Hills Road, and this is supposedly where the surveillance was caught. And off to the left is going to be the Moscow PD, not up here, off to the left. So if you're looking off to the left right there, you're going to see Moscow PD. This is according to the PCA, people. He could have turned left. He could have turned left when he got into Moscow. Please keep that in mind this whole time. This is important. This is exactly the route. And sorry, some of these roads got pretty bumpy. You'll notice it, you'll notice it sometimes in the footage where it gets a little blurry. It's because the bumps were just crazy. Now for time, when I make the route back, you already see the types of ring cams and footage that can exist, right? I didn't drive the south route because, to me, somebody that committed this crime, if they were driving from Steptoe Apartments, come on. It's the route that I show you after this, and you'll see what I mean. And you're going to have the same cameras that you would going to the scene of the crime. There's that A&W root beer. You're going to have the same cameras as when you go to the scene of the crime, right? It's the difference after we turn, and where we turn right in the footage I'm going to show you in a minute. Where we turn right, that's where that dispensary store is at. So I'm going to show you exactly as we're driving how far it is from when we leave the state line to when we get to the dispensary, when we turn right, and then I'm going to show you guys the rest. And it's it's like how this is the only way that this person took it if they were driving from, and I want to put an importance and say if they drove from Steptoe to the scene of the crime to commit it. Now, the Incel at Queen Road Apartments, I'm thinking that's the thing that makes the most sense anymore. So that's why I'm going to say from now on, if the person was living at Steptoe and they went to commit this crime. Now, you want to see the dumb 3-point turn? Go watch Court TV. I'm not doing it. It's too damn dangerous on that road when you barely even have one car that can fit. I was in a rental. I'm not paying for that damn thing. According and I'll show you guys some foggy footage here in the future. I'm just going to show you a couple more footage clips, and then I'm going to have to end the show because I'm going to have to get relaxed, do my post-prep, work on a highlight video, and then try and get some rest before I have my show tomorrow morning. And this is where I'm saying the person part. So now that we're here in the daytime again, I want to pause this as we turn. See, you can park a few spots even beyond where that agent's parked, all right? And boom, you got everything. Now I'm going to switch, and I'm going to show you the route that the person would have took to there and from there if they committed the crime. And then I'm going to show you clips of Kopaka, and then I'm going to show you a clip of Grub Truck, just so you guys can see what it looks like during the day. So this would be the route that the person would have took from Steptoe if they went to go commit this crime. See where we have it turned right and then it goes to 1122 instead of driving through Moscow and all that other shit? That's the spot where I'm telling you, Farm Road Perimeter Drive, that turns into Nez Perce Drive and then goes to 1122. So right here, I'm going to pick it up from where we're getting ready to leave Moscow because all the other cameras are the same. So now we're picking it up. We're leaving Moscow. All right. Now you still see the stores on the left. Everything's there. We're not leaving Moscow or Idaho just yet. All right. Now as we're starting to go by these buildings, we still got a little bit of ways. We're still in Moscow. We're still in Idaho. We just have to make it past these buildings to the right. And once we make it past these buildings, we are leaving Moscow and Idaho right after this stoplight. So we're going to be going past the stoplight. All right. Off to our left is the Moscow sign. Couple seconds later, off to our left is the Idaho sign. Now we are entering Washington State. Now you know where the border splits, where I've showed you on Google. There's the business to the right. Once we come up to the next stoplight, that's how close the dispensary is from the border. And you know how close Walmart is to the border. Please hit the like if you haven't yet. It's the free way to help. All right, now as we're coming up, off to the right, Floyd's Cannabis Company. Right there. Floyd's Cannabis Company right to the right. You saw the sign. Now we're turning on Airport Road. Now, you're only in Pullman for a couple blocks. You're only in Moscow for a couple blocks. Everything else, this is your path to and from the crime scene. If you live at Steptoe and you drove to 1122 to commit the crime, and you knew about forensic footprints, digital footprints, you knew and stalked it out, you would be a fool not to take this route. And if you literally went to that crime scene the way the PCA tells you and you got away with it, or you even thought, I mean, come on now, white car again. You can go through. Once I get this other tier opened up, I'm going to be uploading all of these videos. So anybody that is on that tier can definitely hop in and go watch whatever video they want. And then basically this is what you're seeing. You got this. You got, here, let me skip it ahead just to save some time here. You're driving by the airport. You got the airport. You got more roads. You got winding hills. Little things here and there. Where's your surveillance? What's up, Lauren? It is beautiful out there. If it wasn't for the cold, I would be talking myself into moving out there. I just can't do the cold. That's what I'm saying, everybody. If you're going to commit this crime and you planned it out and you were what you would take this road. Period. Oh, some of the photography I got, because I did stop and take a lot of photography too. It's just so beautiful. It really is. I wish I knew a way that maybe I'll put them on. And I mean, there's so many photos though. I can't. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I have so many photos. Oh, I'm sorry, nothing half-assed. That's a bunch of BS. So when we come up to this convenience store or something, that's like the only thing. You know what I mean? Like when it comes to when we get to the convenience store, that's pretty much we got a roundabout coming up. We're basically in student housing pretty much now. This is the few blocks that you have to drive through Pullman to get on that road, all right? And watch, we're going to be going through that roundabout. Then we're going to be coming up to an intersection, four-way stop. That's where you're going to see the convenience store, and then we're entering into even more student housing. And then you're basically back at Steptoe. And then there's the convenience store that I'm talking about. Other than that, in the airport, and even the airport for that matter, to try and get some kind of footage that can be beneficial from an airport. I mean, come on now. You're talking about surveillance cameras from way back. So to say that that's going to be anything useful, I don't understand. This convenience store, maybe, maybe. Other than that, there's nothing. That's why I'm saying if you plan this out and you stalked it, this is how you do it. And then here we're going back to Steptoe. Now I'm going to switch. This is the footage going from Steptoe to Kopaka's apartment. So let me bring that up. Let me remove some of these other videos here. Remove. We'll keep that one there, and we'll keep that one there. So this is video number 5. So let me click on this. And so I need to go to 12 minutes and 51 seconds. So I'm going to be leaving Steptoe Apartments. This is a different section. And this wasn't part of the PCA driving that I was getting footage on, because I don't believe that, I just don't think that Kopaka is involved. Steptoe is the apartments, the name of the apartments that Koberger lived at. Now we're going to the coffee house apartments where Kopaka lived at. So basically all of Steptoe, and then where BK lives, he's kind of up on the hill off to the right. And I'll tell you where you would turn if you're going to be heading to there. Whoops, I did another circle there. Hold on. Let me scoot ahead. All right. So when you turn right here, and there's a little road that comes up, that's where you turn right. So watch, we're going past. There's a road that you turn right. Not there. Coming up. So see where these cars are coming out of? See this road right here? That's the road that you turn right. And this is why I'm saying a cop just... They had to use one of the tips that the provider ride gave, because he's the one that provided BK's tip, okay? It states it in that article. And this is what I'm saying. For a cop to just drive by and go, oh, shit, there's an alarm. No. Because you got to go turn right. You got to go curve around, and then you got to go up a little more, and then you turn right. And then even after you turn right, you have to keep going back to BK's apartment. So I'll show you, like, this is where You have to go. Right? This is, and you'll see where I turn right. Whoops. Here, let me rewind it just a little bit. So you'll see, I'll back out of the apartment. You'll see where we get to the stop sign, and then I'll flip it back to the footage that I was just on. This is where you have to go. You have to drive up that road and turn right and go here just to do that. All right. Look at how far back the apartment is. Very back corner. Okay. LE is just not driving by. Plus, this spot is at a freaking hill and at a slope. So that see how far we're still away from this road? You're gonna tell me that they're saying, "Oh, that's a white Elantra with a..." No, they're not. No. We're not even at the stop sign yet. See how that hill, it kind of hides everything back there. You're not, nobody's just driving by going, "Oh, hey, look." No. There's a reason why 2 officers went there, one from Washington State and one from Moscow, because they both got the tip about BK from the Provide a Ride driver. You're going to tell me a cop driving by is going to go they're not going to see. No. Not just driving by. They went there with a tip. And the tip came from the DoorDash driver. This right here is the intersection that we were just at, okay? Now we're going to continue from that, where that other car's at ahead of us. We're going to continue and go from there, and now we're going to Kopaka's. So you saw us drive down that road. Now we're heading down this road, and this is how close Kopaka's is. It's not right next street over. It's a few minutes away, but it's really not that far either. And then I'm going to take you through the coffee house apartments too. I'll share the article with you where it states that he did it. I'm really pushing the show. I might have to I'm going to bump my morning show back a little bit, because I still need to go through a couple things here. Let me go ahead and do that now. Let me change my show tomorrow till, let me see. Let me do 10:30, because I'm still going to be working another 2 hours after the show probably. We'll do 10:30. And we'll do 10:15 for now. I might have to update it. All right, so, no problem. I want to make sure that I cover everything in one episode, you know what I mean? And if I got to bump it back, it's no problem. I'm here 24/7, so it's not like, the only thing I need to do tomorrow is go get some razors, and that's it. So we're heading to Kopaka's apartment here from BK's. Now you're going to be going down the same road that you went according to the PCA, but when we get to 270, right? Stadium Way 270. When we get to 270, the PCA tells us we go left. Now when we get to 270, we're going to go right to go to Kopaka's. Now I'm going to show you guys why Kopaka just, there's shit out there about Kopaka hanging out in the parking lot until BK drove by and said, "Hey, come on, get in." No. And to sit there and tell me that if Kopaka was hanging out there waiting for BK so he could hop in, he would stand the fuck out. And I'm going to show you why. $10:30 for me, Nina. Because it's probably going to take, just to make this like 20-minute highlight, it'll probably take me about 2 hours. That's the thing that takes the longest, is the short form content. That's the stuff that takes the longest, because you got to clip it and edit it and splice it, and get the times right, and And if anybody has like any ideas and any shows, hey, you should make a highlight about this, let me know, because really, I just do my shows and then I do my post prep after, or my pre prep for the show. And I don't even, there's times people are like, man, you need to make a highlight of that. And I'm like, well, I didn't even know it was that important, That's probably why people with bigger channels think they have booms, and it's like, no, we've already talked about this a long time ago. It's on video. All right, we're still going down Stadium Way. I miss, if I went to live there, I would definitely want to go to school at Washington State. It's so cool there. Shout out to the Washington State students as well. Appreciate you. And of course, Idaho, I appreciate you too. But the Washington State students were really fucking cool. No, you can only, in due time, you know what I'm saying? Fine wine takes time, so trust me, there will be a point where my voice is that loud. You know what I'm saying? Wazoo. I would love to go to college at WSU. I definitely would. I loved it there. I really did. The vibe, the chill, everybody was so laid back and down to earth, and just in good spirits. You know what I'm saying? It was just like the vibe. I loved it. That's why I missed it so much when I left, because I was like, man, if I ever did it, this would be right here. All right, so now we're going to turn right. Like I said, we're going by Kopaka's, okay? And I'm going to show you why dude ain't hanging out outside waiting for Koberger to come pick him up. You out of your damn mind. Okay, so when you come up here, you're going to turn left. It's not really that huge, Crime Solver. Well, I guess maybe if I'm comparing it to the other universities I've been to. All right, so right here, and let me take me out of the picture here so you guys can get the full spectrum of it. Off to our left is Coffee House Apartments, okay? Now, I wanted to get the visual on the left. Now, what I'm doing now is I'm going to come into this parking lot, back up, turn around, and go through the parking lot so I can get both visuals captured in the footage. I wanted to get the drive-through of the front and then an also drive-through of the back. Do I think the victims and who's being accused knew each other? I highly doubt it. But then again, maybe they did, because I've always wondered, maybe the person that, maybe one of the girls was using the K-bar in the sheath to protect themselves from the person that committed the crime. And that's why the sheath wasn't on a belt loop. And who's to say that the person that committed the crime didn't take it as a souvenir? Now, you see that car driving by up there, right? You see the car driving by, that's on another road. You see the road up above it because you see the guardrail, okay? This is going to be very important. Please take a mental picture of that, everybody. The guardrail, how high it is compared to where we're at, because it's also going to go into what I'm going to explain to you, and it's going to be a few-step explanation. So number one, take a mental picture. See that guardrail. See how high it is compared to where we're at right now. right, now we're going to be going behind Kopaka's Coffee House Apartments. And there's a few things I'm going to show you. Okay, I want you to notice something else. Okay? Notice how high this, see the elevation. And see, you have to go by those dumpsters to even get past the fence to even get up there, okay? Elevation. Elevation. Now, see up into the top right. See that sign up there. Take a mental picture of that, because that sign I'm going to show you as we come back around. See that sign right there. Now, we're going to drive through this. And like I'm saying, if somebody's going up there, hanging out, they're not going to be chilling in the parking lot, okay? They're not chilling in the parking lot waiting to see somebody drive by. If somebody has their phone shut off already, how in the hell are they going to call them? They're not. So there's not somebody hanging out in this parking lot that can see anybody driving by. Number one, I'm going to show you more. Keep in mind that sign. Keep in mind that sign. All right, now we're leaving the Coffee House Apartments. We're going to be coming up to 270 and we're going to turn right. Then I'm going to go... Actually, I don't even remember where I go after that. I think I keep going straight, but I can't remember for sure. It's been a while since I watched this one. There's other ones I haven't even watched yet. So if you guys enjoy these shows where we're going through different parts of the footage and stuff, let me know. And we can have another one where we watch some of the other stuff that we haven't watched yet. So I'm just sitting at the stop sign waiting. Stop sign, I suppose. All right. Now, keep in mind that sign, okay? I told you guys to check it out, look for it, keep it mental picture, snap. There's the 76 gas station, okay? At Stadium Way, remember? All right, now, see the sign to the right. Remember that sign that we saw while we were sitting into the parking lot, okay? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to back it up. I wanted you to see where we were at. That's how close we are to that sign, okay? I'm going to back it up just a skosh. And that's why I'm saying there's nobody chilling in the parking lot waiting to see somebody drove by, especially with somebody that supposedly shut their phone off or can't communicate because it's in airplane mode. If somebody's going to be standing up there where that sign is at, or where you could gain access from the dumpster, you're going to stand out, people. You're going to stand out. If you're standing there waiting to see somebody, no, you're going to stand out. You're going to be on surveillance. You're going to be on the same surveillance that supposedly picked up BK's car, okay? So that's why I'm saying to people that want to boom that Kopaka hopped in and hung out with BK, there's your deflation. Okay, now I'm going to switch to, let me see here. I got to find the grub truck one real quick. Let me see here. That was not in the PCA route. That was in the general video section. So let me go 34 or 35, maybe. Let me see. I gotta kind of skim through it real quick. I apologize. Okay, that's when I ended and stopped and got gas. Is it 35, 46, or 52, maybe? That's okay. So that, let me see here. Okay, so that is not it. So 46, maybe. It might be 52. Let me see. 46. We're in Moscow. I think it's 46. Yeah, it's got to be 46. So let me pull that up real quick. It should be. Because it's looking familiar now. 46. Hold on one second. All right, so we need to go to Moscow general area section videos and 46. All right, there's that damn A&W again. All right, so now we're going to be driving down. This is downtown. Oh, yeah, there's Christchurch. Oh, yeah, you guys remember that? So here, this is Christchurch, everybody. So when you put in Christchurch into, I better pause it. When you put Christchurch into your GPS, everybody, when I'm sitting here driving and it's taking me down this path, I'm going, why in the hell is my GPS taking, why in the hell is my GPS taking me down a frickin' alley? Why is my GPS taking me down an alley? And again, just like most times when you're in Moscow, I'm sitting here going, oh crap, there's a truck coming. What am I going to do? Because we both can't fit. And thank God the dude turned right. Now, this building right here, this tan brick cinder block building, that's your Christchurch, everybody. And when, like I said, you put in Google Maps and you type in Christchurch, Moscow, Idaho, and you're on the streets of Moscow, this is literally where it takes you. This isn't like this is where it takes you. That's why I'm sitting there before I even turn down this road. I'm like, why the fuck am I going down an alley? Like before I'm sitting here driving, please turn right. I'm going, okay, why am I going down? I'm going down an alley? Why am I going down an alley? Shit you not. Because I don't know Moscow. I had boom, 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 boom. Put it in my Google Maps. Directions. This is where it took me. This is Christchurch. And then we'll show you the grub truck in the daytime and you'll shit too. Look at that. You got a parking lot to the left that you can park 8 vehicles. This is Christchurch on the left, everybody. Does it look like a vacant office building that does, like, there's nothing? That's Christchurch, people. You can park 8 vehicles. So I understand why people think that there might be a lot of pull when it comes to Christchurch, but when you take a look at that, and then you combine with the fact that the pastor is saying that only 10% of Moscow is part of Christchurch, I don't think they're as powerful as everybody thinks they are. I really don't. All right, so let me skip ahead. I know I went. Let me see here. Let's get to the grub truck spot because you're going to shit if you have not seen that either. Was this me leaving? No. I'm just going around different parts of the neighborhood. Hold on. Where was the grub? Okay. Did I really need to take like a day or two off and go through all my videos and mark them. I know I was going by where Koberger's in jail. No, that was a different part, Johann Apple, I think. There was a building right there, and it was a permit parking only, and it was something else. I'll pull it up on Google Maps in a second. We'll show you. I think this is where... I think this is it, because I do a couple loops. I think it's after this. Let me scoot it ahead just a little bit. All right. I think it comes up after this. Gosh, where exactly? I don't want to miss it. Let me see. So we're at 11. Let me just kind of skip around here. I think it's coming up. So before this, if I turn left, I'm going to rewind it just a little bit because I show the pillars on the other angle before I drive into where the grub truck's at. And this might be where I show the pillars. Good night, Scarlett. Thank you for hopping in. Man, it's already 1 o'clock. I might have to bump back my show to like 11. I got a lot of work to do tonight after we're done. But I wanted to make sure that I showed you guys this all in the same episode too. We got plenty more to go through. But just think about it. Go watch the grub truck after we're done if you don't have it already implanted in your memory, okay? Go watch the grub truck when you're done, and I need to get rid of me out of this screen. Hold on. Hold on a minute. All right, we'll do this. Here, we'll flip me up right. Because you guys got to see these pillars, okay? But when it comes to the grub truck, and this is where I'm coming from when it's like, whoa, this is crazy. So if you have it implanted in your head, in the grub truck, you know how you got the top left camera. Focus on the top left camera when I'm going to explain all this stuff in the daylight, okay? The top left camera where you see the windows going up and down along the side. Just keep in mind that part when I discuss it. Okay, so up here, you see, you got the pillars. See the pillars off to the left. All right. So when you're thinking about the grub truck, okay, and you have to keep all of this in mind before I take you over there, okay? So think about the grub truck. Think about the top left camera, number 1, with all the windows. Number 2, think about that top left camera, or the bottom left camera. The bottom left camera where you see the pillars. The pillars are straight back in the bottom left camera, okay? Pillars straight back, bottom left camera. There's the pillars right there. So those pillars are going to be straight back in the bottom left camera. And we're going to come around and we're going to turn in, and you guys are going to shit when you see this in the daytime. And we're at 3 minutes and 3 hours, 38 minutes of the video. If you want to get your grub truck video and come back to 3 hours and 38 minutes, I'm telling you, compare the two and you'd be like, what? The corner club is off to the right. All right, so this is where we're turning down. This is where grub truck is. This is where grub truck is. See the pillars? Now this is what's sketchy. Okay. Remember the windows. This is what I'm saying. Remember the windows that were on the top. There's your pillars. Let me rewind it. Let you guys see it again in the daytime because this shit's crazy. Just wait. Another visual. Straight back. You see the pillars, okay? You see the pillars. Yeah, we're going to get to the windows in a second. You see the pillars straight back, right? So that means the grub truck is to the left, okay? Grub truck is to the left. Pillars straight back. Grub truck to the left. Pillars. Now, when you see the awnings to the right, remember the top left camera, you got the windows going down. You got the awnings. So when you're seeing the top left camera and you see the windows and you see the people going up and away from the camera, that means they're coming back towards my vehicle. Now, this is even creepier, everybody. Look, when you're watching the grub truck, do you see these sketchy ass dark alleys at night? Sketchy ass dark alley going that way and going behind me for blocks going each way. Can you imagine how creepy that is? That's the grub truck during the day. That's where the grub truck, not that spot. It's off to the left. So I'll leave you with this image right here. You got the grub truck off to the left. You got the awnings to the right. You got the pillars ahead of you. And then you got those sketchy ass alleys in either direction going blocks. And you're going to tell me that none of those people that were going vroom on Twitch or paying for ladies' dinners and all this other stuff because they were cute on Twitch, you can't tell me that there wasn't one of those dudes creeping somewhere around there? It's so much crazier when you see this stuff with light. So I wanted to make sure that I went a little longer, leave these with you guys. That way it's all in one episode. Like I said, we can go through. I got plenty more we can go through in the future and have another episode where we, go through more footage and do some of the updates and stuff. That's right, Steve W. Thank you. Nothing half-assed. I know. Because that October 31st episode, and then a couple days later, guess what happened, everybody? Think about it. October 31st, FBI came out. I said what I said October 31st, and then a couple days later, what happened? I was already getting my plane tickets and heading to Idaho, baby. I wasn't bullshitting. And I'm so glad because of that, now we can have this. Now we can have this. Isn't it creepy how close isn't it creepy how close I am to that cement slab in front of the sliding glass door when I'm standing behind the crime scene tape, everybody? It's crazy. Thank you all for your company, your conversation. I appreciate it. Thank you for your support. Please hit the like if you haven't yet. It's the free way. If I've earned your sub and you aren't sub, please hit the sub and come back and check out more shows. Definitely hit the notification bell. I know YouTube's buggy like crazy. So all you have to do, you can always just, I'm on in the mornings and I'm on in the evenings. Come back again. We appreciate you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you for contributing to the peace, positivity, and progress atmosphere. And we will see you tomorrow. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you. Have a good night.